Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of the Scream Podcast with me, your host, Alex, and my co-host,
Adam. Hello, how's it going?
And today, it's kind of an experimental episode, I guess.
Yeah, we're kind of doing... I kind of listened back to the last episode, and, you know, with its 36 views, but... yeah, we're getting there. But I kind of realised it's like, well, they don't know who we are, or what kind of people we are, so it's kind of... We're talking about films, stuff, and we're going to get into some more interesting topics, I think. You know, we kind of did it a bit on the fly last time with the Neil Breen, and it was kind of a bit of a test. So we thought we'd kind of do a bit of a getting to know you episode. And I thought the best way to do that is with some icebreaker questions that I found online.
And yeah, and hopefully we'll get to tell some stories about us. I think Adam is a king of stupid, embarrassing stories.
Yeah, but a lot of them are not suitable for work. I'm not saying that we necessarily want the podcast to be like that, but they're quite...
I think I've got a word to start. Speaking of icebreakers...
Jesus.
Can I tell this story?
Yeah, go on.
So speaking of icebreakers, Adam, you went to Tanzania for 6 weeks about a few years ago.
Yeah.
Just tell the backstory about that.
Well, that was just... in the UK, there's this thing called Camps International, where basically you kind of go and do some charity work and stuff in a foreign country,
Which
and you
raise
raise
£6,000 to do.
It was not £6,000.
How much was it?
It was quite expensive. I'm not saying, but it was quite expensive. But you raised the money because it was kind of a charitable endeavour thing. And yeah, it was good and stuff. But I am the most awkward human alive.
But on this trip, you decided, this is where I'm going to be the social butterfly.
Yeah.
I'm going to blossom. Because there were other schools at this camp, which Adam was like, I want to meet new people. I'm going to be, this is me now, this is a new Adam. And so you thought of some ingenious ways to break the ice with these new people.
Well, I was reading a fan fiction once, right? And this was at the... I don't know.
What fan fiction was it?
I can't remember.
You can't remember. Was it like...
I'm not joking.
Was it Naruto?
It might have been Naruto fan fiction. Yeah. So, and one of the characters, you know, was trying to get with another character. And they went on a date to a restaurant. And, like, in the story, it was awkward and everything. Until this guy did this, right? He gets some ice. This isn't it, though, because I didn't actually do this, but it gave me an idea about the icebreakers. So he gets some ice, like, smashes it, and just goes, oh, I've broken the ice. To me, that was the coolest shit in the world. Like... Oh my god, what a chat.
How times have changed.
No, exactly. I'm just like thinking back on this. But that's not actually what I did. I was talking to the people in my camp. I was like, I really want to, like, we kind of got to know everyone else in the camp except this one group of people. So I was like, I might go over and say something. I'm like, yeah, I'll give you an excuse. So this guy gets a ball and throws it like towards them for me to go and collect. And this fucking idiot throws it and it lands nowhere close to them. Like, so I go get it and I just turn to them and go, I'm collecting this ball. I don't know why. That was my first response, to just go, I'm collecting a ball.
I thought you said it in that sort
no,
of
I probably said it in the most...
collecting a ball.
Probably. Yeah, I turned into Dracula for a second there.
So
I collect the ball and I just go and sit with them. Like, no provocation, and they're just like, what the fuck are you...
Can I help you?
Yeah. And they're just like, so I go, hi, what are your names? And they were dicks, right? They just would not give me their names. They said they were Gandalf and stupid shit. So I thought, okay, I've got to do the icebreaker. But I didn't have any ice, obviously. Fucking Tanzania, it's boiling. There's no ice.
There's no water, forget ice.
This is what I came up with. It's like, how much does a polar bear weigh? Silence for like a few seconds. They're just staring at me, and I expected them to go like, what? No, how much? But they just stared at me, like, just dead stare, like, what the fuck are you doing?
Don't give you the time of day at this point. It's like,
what? It's like, what are you doing?
Just fucking say it already.
Yeah. So I just go, how much does a polar bear weigh? And then I do this like weird, almost like, what's his name? This weird hand motion.
Oh, is it the
like Groovy Baby?
The groovy. Oh yeah, fucking from Ash from Evil Dead and stuff.
What's his Austin Powers? That's what I kind of do. Like this Groovy Baby thing with my hands. It's just the most like.
I
wish I could show you.
I was going to say that. I was going to say that, or like the Samurai Cop thing.
Yeah.
He's like, me and Becca, your place, baby. And he clicks for the helicopter.
Yeah, it was literally like that. So I clap my hands and do that thing, go, enough to break the ice. I thought they would maybe laugh, think it was awkward, dead silence. The people that sent me over were like in bits. Like they were just beside themselves laughing. And then I just left. I was like, I can't. But then, I kind of did work because they did call me the polar bear guy after that. So it worked out for the better.
Mission complete over there.
Yeah. I'm not sure how interesting that story was, Alex.
I'll listen back to it.
I'll be honest.
If I laugh.
If you don't laugh, just cut that.
Yeah, sure. But do I cut this bit? Yeah, back to say we should say that large sections of this might be cut out because we're not entirely sure how interesting we are.
Right. So
that was your first attempt. Those other attempts.
But the second one isn't as interesting though, I don't think.
No, I think there's loads of stories from that camp in general. Like when you tried to hit on that guy who you thought was gay.
Yeah. Oh, that was awkward. So I was hitting on this guy.
Adam's gay.
And this country, can I make clear? Like Tanzania is like it's illegal to be gay. So I had to do it slyly. And this wasn't a Tanzanian guy. It was a guy from England. So I kind of.
Adam's a sly gay.
Yeah. So I was hitting on this guy, and I think he could tell that I was like hitting on him, and he looked really creeped out. And he just went, I've got to go now. And kind of grabbed this girl and like started kissing her. It was a bit like, oh shit.
It'd be even better if you didn't even know that girl. But he's just trying to get away from you.
I thought that might have been what was going on.
Mm-hmm. So that was Adam's icebreaking experience. And now we're going to try to break the ice with you lot, you lovely people listening. I need to unlock my iPad, Adam. Stop reaching over. Because we came prepared for this podcast. We Googled icebreaker questions.
Yeah.
Specifically, funny icebreaker questions.
Funny icebreaker. So pass me it. Well, I just kind of want people to imagine the mindset of a person that would write a list like this.
Imagine like Milhouse.
Yeah,
because kind of like, hey guys.
This is the header. Funny icebreaker questions.
Brought to you by museumhack.com.
Museumhack.com if we
sponsorship,
we'll take it. Even though I'm gonna rip this fucking article to shreds if I could speak properly.
Well, you start small, then we get to the Loot Crate sponsorship.
So this is a funny icebreaker question. This is pulling at the really funny strings, right? What is one article of clothing that someone could? Sorry, my voice completely cracked then. What is one article of clothing that someone could wear that would make you walk out on a date with them? How is that funny though? Like I
guess it's up to us to make it funny, which is why this podcast is ultimately doomed. A merkin. If they're just wearing a merkin.
Mine is just going to be like a fucking dildo suit.
What is a dildo suit?
Just like fucking just like a latex suit with like dildo stuck to it. So they're just walking like, hey, how's it going? Have you said that?
Mine was relatively like restrained compared to yours. I was like, a merkin, it's a vagina wig. You were like, a latex suit with dildos on it.
Yeah, but I don't dress particularly well, so I can't judge other people. But I feel as if that's the point where I go, I might just excuse myself to the bathroom.
You might.
Well, it depends, because they might pull it off. They might be like really funny with it. Like, okay.
So you're in a public place. You're in like a restaurant. Yeah. Like someone's like, hey, do you want to go fucking... Where did we go have dinner?
What do you mean? Where do people... Just a restaurant?
Oh, yeah.
You don't have to like...
Oh, yeah, good point. So that's it. Starbucks.
TGI Fridays.
TGI Fridays. We're going to TGI
Even
Fridays.
That's an American thing. There is one in...
Yeah,
there is one where we live, actually.
But you'll never know where we live. So you're in TGI Fridays, and you're like, oh, I met this guy on Tinder or Grindr or wherever, and you're like, and you get there, and you're like, oh, I've got... Are you done? Are you done?
I'm just imagining some guy just you walk in to meet the date and he's already sat there in the dildo suit. Just casually sipping on a glass of wine. It's like, oh, where is he?
I don't know how I'm going to edit this. Like, there's going to be like a whole chunk of laughter just missing from the podcast.
Yeah. Fucking hell. That was my fault there. So what were you saying about the restaurant? I feel as if they just wouldn't get that in. You'd have to have a
Maybe.
particularly...
I guess so, because if I got dildo stuck
Just families sat around and some guy walks in with dildos stuck to their like latex suit.
so okay, so we've...
And the way I imagined it was like as a hole for like penis as well. So their dick's like hanging out.
I feel like we're really getting to know you as a person.
Oh yeah, fucking hell.
So to answer the first question...
So what is even yours? I don't know what...
A merkin.
What is a merkin?
It's a vagina wig. They were just wearing a vagina wig.
I don't know what that is. What's a vagina wig? Sorry.
It's a wig for your... It's pretty... Never mind.
How would you see that though? Because surely that'd be under their clothes.
If that's all they're wearing.
Oh, okay. So I mean, you made such a big deal about mine being weird when yours...
Okay, in the grand scheme of, the world, yours is much weirder than mine.
I suppose, yeah.
So to answer the first question, what item of clothing, what was the question? I don't remember.
What is one article of clothing that someone could wear that would make you walk out on a date with them?
So a latex dildo suit with the gap missing for a dick.
Yeah.
I think we could have... I think
that'll be anyone's. I feel as if it should have been what's the lowest limit. Like,
true. I feel like people were thinking like, oh, if they were wearing Logan Paul Maverick t-shirts or something.
Something like that.
Not like a fucking BDSM leather suit.
Alright, so let's go on
what's this left move on?
second question. The zombie apocalypse is coming. Who are 3 people you want on your team? Does that... Thing is, I'm a bit
that fictitious
confused
or real people?
Yeah, fictitious or real. I think it would be more interesting to constrain it to real, because fictional you can just say Superman,
Is it people...
Batman.
People we know?
Well, I imagine it says 3 people. Let's make the constraint not fictional, even though we're a fucking film podcast. So, but I think the not fictional
Should we do
makes
both?
it more
Should
interesting.
real and then film characters?
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, okay.
So real people. Who is the first person you'd go to then?
My kind of thing would be so pragmatic, because if there's a zombie apocalypse, surviving from zombies would be hard.
We'd say that Bear Grylls.
Yeah,
because he can sleep in camels and stuff.
Yeah, we've got so many camels in Britain.
He could probably do it with horses as well. He's probably very...
Yeah, but... Because you could choose 3 like proper good fighters, good martial artists, shooting people, people who are good with guns.
Mm-hmm.
But my thing would be like, well, you need to live after you... Because I imagine, depending on what type of zombie it is, surviving the zombie part is kind of like, the first thing. But then you've got to kind of build a society again with survivors.
Right, so you need some agriculturalists.
Yeah, I would have like an agriculturalist, because I don't know how to farm. Like, I've been watching loads of videos recently about like food making.
Right.
So complicated to make the simplest shit.
Like what?
Like chocolate. Like
what? Okay, it's a post-apocalypse.
Okay, no,
no dickhead's going to become like saying, "Oh, I want chocolate."
No, exactly. That was just the first thing that came to my head. But you wouldn't expect the amount of steps there are, and I think a lot of food is like that. Like just.
Oh, true. I guess you can't getting milk straight from a cow. You could probably still do it, but it's not the best.
Yeah, but then you have to raise the cows. You've got to feed them right. You've got to, there's so much to agriculture that it's so difficult.
Yeah.
So I'd have someone like that.
So name a person. Do you know anyone who's an agriculturalist?
I think there's a guy on that fucking terrible. It's not a terrible show, but it's an old person show.
Tim Marshall? Tim Minch? No.
No, it's Adam something, and he's in Country Life.
Ooh,
so
my
bad.
Favourite show.
Yeah, I'm so bad. This Adam guy from that, he's a farmer, so he knows about farming. So I'll probably have him. This is
not an interesting.
Oh, no.
I think Bear Grylls was the best option.
Bear Grylls would be good.
Okay,
for the survival part. I think you need one person for surviving the zombie part.
We need someone to kill the zombies as well.
Yeah.
We need someone strong,
I don't know.
I think a good all-round person to actually have would be someone like Joe Rogan, because he hunts and he does MMA.
Yeah, that's not even a bad show.
That's not a bad show at all.
He actually farms his own animals as well.
Yeah,
fucking Joe Rogan.
Joe Rogan, number 1. Podcast bro.
Yeah, Joe Rogan would be quite a good one. Which, that kind of tells the audience what kind of people we are. That we'd have fucking, out of everyone in the world, Joe fucking Rogan. I'd probably have an engineer as well, but I can't think, other than Elon Musk isn't actually an engineer. He's a...
You could probably build something.
He's a very intelligent guy, but he's not... I'm trying to think... It doesn't... an engineer, a good engineer. I don't know any famous ones.
Steve Wozniak?
He was a
computer
guy. A computer thing, I don't think... Because computers will be gone in the first, probably, month. You need to build from the bottom up, and I think like a mechanical engineer would be quite important.
Okay. So you've got Bear Grylls, Joe Rogan...
And a mechanical
engineer.
No, the agricultural guy. Oh no, I don't know. Get rid of Bear Grylls because I think Joe Rogan's got the kind of.
Okay.
So a mechanical engineer, an agricultural person, and Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan just. They're like, bro, you know the universe, yeah.
I prefer Joey Diaz. You fucking cocksuckers.
You heard a sound there. It was my coaster falling off my drink.
Full of.
What would your three be?
Well, I thought that was a collective
one.
Collective
one.
I usually have fictitious.
What about fictitious?
Superman. Just
obviously.
If you can transport us to a new planet, you can just wipe out the zombies.
Superman. And then at that point, you could just... Because Superman will fucking save your life. You could choose anyone. I don't know, who would be interesting from fiction? Like, just fun to be around. Batman wouldn't be.
No, he would be the opposite of fun to be around.
Because he's so depressing.
He'd be like, oh, someone needs to do the agricultural work. I'll do the agricultural work.
Someone
needs to hunt the zombies. I'll hunt the zombies.
Oh, this is going to show my kind of level of shit taste. Right, so there's a show called Shadowhunters, right?
Okay, I think we should...
And it's terrible. Mm-hmm. It is awful, but I watch it because I read the books as a kid, and it was really kind of the first book that had gay characters. The gay character called Alec from that, specifically from the TV show, because he's the hottest man I've ever seen.
I think we should also this is a get to know you podcast. Well, it's supposed to be. I don't know what it's become now.
Yeah,
is that kind of... Adam has the worst fucking taste in TV I've ever seen in my life.
Well, I'm not. I'm a bit ironic with it. Like I enjoy it from a kind of like it's not like, genuine enjoyment.
So I would recommend you, hey, watch this amazing TV show. You're like, nah, I sat through 3 seasons of Shadowhunters. I hated the first 2, but now I love it. And you watched Grim.
The 3rd season was legitimately better than the first 2. Surprisingly.
Is that like a good step up though?
Yeah, the first 2 seasons were pure garbage, so it wasn't exactly the most.
It was a slight incline.
But the guy that plays Alec is Peng.
He's Pengsley.
Yeah, he's pure amazingness.
And what other shit do you watch? Ackley Bridge.
Oh, that show is right. So I'm just going to describe an episode.
What is Ackley Bridge first?
Describe the show. Terrible show. Well, the first season kind of had a few alright things going for it. So I was like, alright. I was watching something on, if you're not from the UK, which let's be honest, how much universal appeal are we getting like with our 36 viewers?
And on 0 subscribers.
And 0 subscribers. Yeah. There's this thing called 4OD, and you can watch things from the channel 4. I don't know why.
It's too much detail to say it's on channel 4.
But I kept getting recommended this show. I was like, okay, I'll just watch it. And it only had 6 episodes in the season. I watched it, and it was like one of the storylines was legitimately quite gripping. It was about a girl whose grandmother died. And
it's about a school. Ackley Bridge is a school in Yorkshire.
Yeah,
right.
multicultural school, trying to integrate 2 communities and whatever. But there's one episode, and it was the funniest, most ridiculous thing I've ever seen, where this girl, who's Pakistani and Muslim, meets this other girl who's a lesbian. They're both lesbians, because, that
diversity.
Yeah, but, it's just fine. And so she meets this girl, has sex with this girl, then finds out that this girl is part of the EDL.
Yeah, there's a presentation going out in town from the EDL members. They're handing out flyers about, she said them all back home. Blah, blah, blah. And then in the crowd chanting all these horrific things, she sees her lesbian lover.
And it's just like, what?
What happened? Yeah,
it was incredible.
And when Adam first told me this, I was thinking, it's probably because she's been forced to do it because of her parents or something.
No, she genuinely they have a long conversation about, you're alright, but all the other Muslims...
And she works in a chicken
shop.
They're
trying to kill us.
And she works in
what?
In the presentation, she's like, everyone gets halal.
Yeah, she works for a halal chicken place.
Quite happily, it seems.
Yes. Yeah. No, she said, it's just a job. It's like, what set of events makes that happen? And they always say...
bad screenplay.
It was terrible.
So there's that and there's Grim.
Oh, Grim was alright though. It wasn't great, but it was kind of like, it was cheesy. Like, I would argue that wasn't a terrible show.
Was it because like you have a thing about modern fantasy?
I quite like the whole modern fantasy thing. Like, I secretly quite like Bright. Like, I don't think it's a good film, but there's a part of me that wanted it to be good and kind of hopes that it has sequels.
I wanted it to be good as well. Just get rid of Dave. Why did David Ayer direct that movie to begin with?
I don't know. Well, supposedly it didn't really, like, Max Landis wrote it, but he sold them the, like, spec script.
Yeah, and they changed, like, everything,
yeah,
it seems.
Yeah, they changed everything. But that's fucking Max Landis' excuse for all this shit stuff that he makes.
Not really, because...
Like, they've changed it. If they just stuck to my perfect screenplay.
I think it's just... Okay, I'm a Max Landis defender. I've seen all his movies apart from Victor Frankenstein. I haven't watched the
because that one looks so fucking terrible.
I'll watch it. It's on Netflix. I'll watch it sometime. Like, I even saw Me, Him, Her.
He just annoys me as a person. I don't really care about his screenwriting stuff.
I find him really interesting, and I find him incredibly entertaining. Like his Instagram videos and stuff, he's always funny.
But do you not find that it's really hypocritical for him to talk about the whole nepotism in Hollywood when his dad is, what's his name?
She's John Landis.
John Landis.
He directed the Blues Brothers.
You know, a big director. It's like, there's no way someone could have as many bombs as he had and still be in the industry. I'm sorry.
Well, no, really. Think about, there's tons of writers. Think about the amount of directors and writers which keep coming back and back and back.
Right. And I know this is a weird example to take, but what's his face? And this might be his fault a little bit. You kind of get one side of the story with him. Charlie Kaufman. He was like... There was a point...
Describe who Charlie Kaufman is, because he's very obscure.
He's not obscure. Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, he wrote that. He wrote...
Anomalies and directed it.
And directed that.
He had Synecdoche, New York.
Yeah.
Adaptation?
Adaptation, which is my favourite film. So if you want to get to know me, that's my favourite film. What else? Being John Malkovich, which is, again, fantastic film. He kind of did Adaptation, Being John Malkovich, and... what's it called? Eternal Sunshine. And he was like, oh my god, this guy's up and coming. He's going to... Literally, there were things about him being the best screenwriter ever. There still is, like, some, you know, kind of, this guy's the best screenwriter ever. He then did Synecdoche, New York, which did not make its money back. It took him 10 years to be able to get another project. And it's like... Max Landis kind of keeps bombing. Like, he just isn't writing good stuff.
But that's not... When, like, he talks about this as well. Like, when you're a writer, you're so far removed from the whole sort of process. Like, a great example of writers who just keep coming back is a guy called David S. Goyer.
Yeah.
And he basically writes everything DC. Like, he wrote, like, the Dark Knight trilogy, and he did the new DC movies, like Man of Steel and BVS and whatnot. And he did that new Krypton show, which apparently is not great.
I've not even heard of it.
It's like the prequel to Superman. It's like on set on Krypton.
It's a shit show, so I should have watched it. Jesus.
Yeah, you'd love it. And so, but there was an interview with him, David S. Goyer, and they said, you know, so what is your writing technique? How do you go about writing, David S. Goyer? And he goes, well, I'm not what you'd say the best writer. I'm not great at writing dialogue or doing, like, you know, a good scene production. But what I do is I write things and I let the actors sort of improvise my lines. And David S. Goyer has also been attached to things like Blade. Like he directed Blade Trinity.
Is that the good one?
No,
there's a good
Blade
film,
Trinity.
isn't there?
There's 2 good Blade films.
Yeah.
He did the third one. The one we watched when we were like 10.
When did
We watched it when I was like 10. It was like on like Halloween time we watched.
Oh, we did, didn't we? That piece of shit.
We probably enjoyed it at the time.
Yeah, probably.
It wasn't good now. But he keeps... Like, writers, you're fine. Like, you can't be, like, sacked in Hollywood if you're a writer. It's very, very hard. And I know you like Max Landis, but Max Landis is much more talented than David S. Goyer has ever been.
Is he that? I don't know. I find him to be a bit of a smarmy prick. And I want to be clear as well. Oh god, this is really getting into controversial water, Alex.
Is it?
The 30 viewers might turn on us.
Oh no.
With the whole Me Too thing that came out about him, that was highly suspect.
I'm not entirely sure what this
is. About 5 women came out and said Max Landis, you know, when Bright came out, a woman responded and said something like, written by known sex offender Max Landis. And then effectively 5 women in Hollywood kind of got together and said, we're going to release a document of all his transgressions. Reading through that document, none of it was sexual assault. It was being a bit of an obnoxious prick, which
he's known for.
He's a bit of an obnoxious prick.
But he's self-aware.
So
he knows.
I kind of want to make clear that my problems with him actually don't include that, because I kind of feel he got an unfair shake there. Mm-hmm. So,
but for me, I enjoy Max
downvote.
I enjoy Max Landis' work, and I think he's a pretty good comic writer too. I read comics, by the way. And
he makes you so different to everyone else in the world.
Well, okay, you don't read.
I read the one that he did, and I liked it up until the last
American
issue.
Alien.
Yeah, American Alien.
I really
was
enjoyed
good
American
until
Alien.
the last issue.
I thought
the
last issue was underwhelming. When you read it, like, this is the fucking worst thing I've ever made. I fucking hate. Oh, fucking Max Landis.
I didn't do that.
You did.
I just said the last issue was a huge disappointment.
You said it's the fucking worst piece of shit.
Like, I really loved the third issue, which was like.
There's the one where he's on the boat and he has the romance.
No, not the third issue. It might have been the fourth. The one where he talks to Lex Luthor and he talks to
Robin.
I think he talks to Robin.
Yeah, that was good.
And that was a really.
There's lots of good moments in the entire run. I recommend American
Some of the
Alien.
art is fantastic as well. They get some really good artists. I think in that one particularly, there was a really excellent.
He does a different artist for different each issue, so it gives a different feel, and the tones match the artist, which is really good. I recommend American Alien. Also, I recommend American Ultra, because that's actually a good movie, which I think unfairly bombed.
So back to the question. So that was kind of two. Superman.
Are we still on? Skip this question. I forgot.
We're probably going to skip this one as well. What is your most used emoji?
It's probably the laughy crying one.
Oh God, yeah.
I use that one the most.
I always use that one on Grindr when I
hello,
invariably don't meet up with someone. So I'll be like,
haha, bit busy.
Yeah.
Laughing emoji.
Sorry, I missed your message. Laughing emoji. Laughing crying emoji.
Just had to go clinic. Laughing crying emoji.
Yeah.
Next one.
I don't understand these, because it says funny icebreaker questions. What was the worst style choice you ever made? You can really tell the demographic here.
As in, like, ever? Because there's a good chunk in, like, my teen years where I look back and, like, I dressed like complete shit.
Mine's the edgy wolf shirt.
Oh my God.
That was my favourite shit. I bought, so I went into some obscure shop. It was in Cheddar Gorge, which is where cheddar cheese comes from.
Cheddar Gorge?
It's where...
Where's
where
that?
cheddar
Is
cheese
that
comes from. No, not in Leicester.
I mean, wherever
we're from. It's a place called Cheddar Gorge, and it's like it's a gorge.
Made of cheddar.
Called Cheddar in a place called Cheddar. It's where cheddar cheese comes from. I don't know if it's all made there. Like, I imagine it's where it originated.
Probably.
So I went on holiday there. Nice cheese. That was about as much as I could say about holiday. But I was really into, like, at the time I was pagan, really into, like, and I'm not telling that story yet.
Which one? The one about the salt cycle?
Yeah, not the salt cycle. I might tell that nearer the end, but...
Holy shit. This guy, this fucking... the
fucking
amount of shit I come to school... Like, I'm probably like 13, 14. I come to school, and Adam became like, I've been reading my black magic book. And he kind of goes, my brother, he cut himself. And I did a magic spell under the full moon. And he put it in a bandage.
And it healed.
And 3 days later, the small cut had healed. I've got magic powers, Adam. And there's no sort of, joke in his eyes.
Yeah.
He fully believes the bullshit which is coming out of his mouth.
Yeah. Yeah, I had a weird black magic Wicca phase. Well, Wicca's not black magic.
You've put in many phases.
I had a weird few, because right after that I had my edgy atheist
phase.
fedora phase.
Oh, when you just watch TJ Kirk and the Amazing Atheist videos.
Yeah, he's such a prick.
Over and over again.
Oh, starting beef. No, but he is a bit of a prick now.
Oh no, TJ Kirk might find us.
Oh no.
I like some of his videos.
So I went to this fucking Cheddar Gorge place, and I bought, just imagine a 50-year-old biker woman, what kind of t-shirt she might wear.
Uh-huh.
And it was this really baggy t-shirt with a wolf's face on it.
I think a better description would be one of those people who think they're wolfkin or otherkin. Yeah, Adam dressed like an otherkin person, just without the black nail varnish.
Oh God! And it's literally, it was my favourite shirt. I would wear it to everything. It was the worst thing. And eventually, someone just said, that shirt looks fucking ridiculous. I think it was this girl we know called Evie. It was just went, that shirt looks ridiculous. And I kind of just went, oh God, yeah, it does.
Yeah, I was as well as your wolf t-shirt. You also had a Native American dream catcher.
Yeah,
with
I
a
still
giant.
have that.
Yeah, do you?
I still hang in my room, even though I
Oh.
don't believe in any of that shit now.
Have I just phased that bit of your room out of existence?
No, it's on the door.
Oh, okay. You had that. You also had like all your wallpapers on your desktops of just like pretty wolf pictures with full moons and stuff.
I don't get what is it about wolves? Like they're just like
I think it's like other king people see wolves go, oh, these
noble,
beautiful, independent creatures.
Yeah.
I am beautiful and independent.
Even though
I'm a wolf.
They run in packs.
They run.
So it's not like they're independent, but
no,
hey ho.
But wolfkins come together.
I think it's the whole werewolf thing. Like werewolves are cool. Why aren't there any cool werewolf films anymore?
But speaking of which, Max Landis is doing a remake of American Werewolf in London.
Oh, yay!
His dad made the original, and so it's kind of like, I think it's a passing off of the baton, father to son.
Yeah. The son has far less talent. Wasn't that whole thing that John Landis like killed like?
Have you not heard about the Twilight Zone disaster?
The Twilight Zone disaster. He killed like some children, effectively.
Effectively, yes, but geez, I didn't know what it was. I looked up a video.
I've seen the video,
and then they said, "And now we're going to show this." And I was like, Jesus.
So it's like a kid and this woman, and they're standing in some water, and then
there's two. Okay, there's two like two Asian children. I can't remember what nationality they are. They're Asian, I think. And they're doing a scene with this older actor.
Yeah. And
the scene was there's going to be like a helicopter which flies by, and there's like fire and smoke going off in the air, and so John Lance goes, action, and the helicopter's flying over, and the rumor goes that the helicopter pilot reported to John Landis that there's a problem, this is not entirely safe for me to do, and John Landis is like, no, keep going, it'll be fine. And
it wasn't.
I think the helicopter collided with some piece of like filming machinery, which was like blinded by smoke. The helicopter then crashed into the two child actors. They're about 5, and the older actor, killing them.
Oh, fucking hell, that's awful.
And there was like
really brought the podcast down, Alex.
There was a internal investigation. Yeah, let's talk about dildo suits again. So yeah, there's.
I know that Max Landis is really like.
He gets tweets about that.
Yeah, he gets tweets about it all the time, and he really is not happy. Like when he does, he gets really defensive.
It's not Max Landis' fault. He wasn't even there. It's his dad.
Yeah, but like loads of people are, oh, your dad's responsible for the death of these children. It's just like, please leave me alone.
Allegedly.
Allegedly,
has
yeah.
It. But no,
Don't sue us, Max.
Anyway, but my worst fashion choice was.
Yeah, what was?
I think what the time like. I was never a cool child.
No, I'm sorry. I've got to
is it
answer
the chinos?
for you.
Is it the chinos?
No, it's not the chinos. It's the double denim.
What double denim?
The infamous double denim. I remember. No, triple denim. Like, I remember. To be fair, these people didn't particularly like you, so they could be bullshitting. But one time you went to France.
Oh yeah, that trip you went on. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna honest with you. It really wasn't that bad. I think because my jacket was not 100% denim. There were like cloth sleeves and cloth hoodie.
That sounds fucking awful.
It was a nice jacket. Actually, my sister stole it. I mean, if I have a sister. Yeah. So I think personally it would be the red chinos.
The red chinos were pretty terrible.
With like
they were really tight as well. Like they're really skinny fit.
Yeah, and I wasn't a skinny child.
And he's skinny now, but he wasn't as a kid. We both kind of are similar in that sense. Like.
I think so. I think though
I was really skinny as a kid, and then I kind of had like 4 years of being quite chubby.
Yeah, I had extra chubby,
and now we're both kind of slimming. We've both slimmed down a bit.
Yeah, but yeah, it was the red chino shorts, and my parents wouldn't let me buy Converse because they said I'd grow out of them and they just break, and so I had to go to Sports Direct and get the cheap Converse equivalent.
That's what I buy anyway.
Adam has them right now.
They're just convenient and not lots of money.
Yeah, I think Adam, like what I used to wear during my teenage years is what Adam wears now.
I don't wear chinos though.
No, but
I just wear cheap clothes. I'm not particularly bothered about clothes. I'm more so than I used to be when the wolf top was in
power.
In power, yeah. But I'm more conscious of that kind of thing. But I kind of like I will go into Matalan, which is a cheap store in the UK.
Primark.
Yeah, or Primark, or I'm not too much on Primark though. Usually because I kind of had the whole thing about them being pretty bad ethically, but all places are probably pretty.
Everywhere you go these days. And so yeah, that's I think, and Adam wonders why he can't get a boyfriend.
I don't get this because they all seem to be about like this. The next one is what was your worst haircut? And let's just answer it. I had a bowl cut as a kid. It looked fucking horrendous.
Your mum,
I wanted to go for
it?
the whole Beatles look. No. I wanted to go for the whole Beatles look, but the Beatles were the 80s? 60s. So, God, that shows how fucking young I am.
I was supposed to say, I'm 20. How old are you?
20.
Yeah, you're 20 as well. Okay, cool.
we are almost exactly the same age, Alex.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm going to bury you, bitch. Sorry. I think my worst haircut is that I try to do, like when I was like in early teenage years, I tried to do the whole kind of like big quiff, slick.
Isn't that what you're trying to do now?
No, it's part to the side.
No, his hair looks quite nice now.
Thank you. Compliments.
Oh.
That's why I'm so paying, Adam. Should I tell that story?
No, after this we can go to TGI Fridays. You can get your... Cut that out. That was terrible.
I'm definitely not cutting that out.
No, right. I'm just looking at these questions, right?
But can I finish my hair story?
Sorry, go on.
It was like trying to be like almost like Elvis, but didn't work because it turns out I have the worst fucking hair imaginable. It's curly, but not curly in a way where it's frizzy.
Yeah.
And I have 2 crowns from the back and the side.
Oh no.
And so
you do as well. Actually, I've never noticed that.
And so
Jesus Christ, I can't stop looking at it. I can't stop looking at it. Oh.
And so
are you gonna bold from like 2 spots?
No, I'm not gonna go bald. No, my family's bald. I'm fine.
Okay, you're fine.
I'm gonna have hair forever. I'm gonna have a beautiful corpse, to tell you that much.
I'm worried because my dad's side, he's balding. But my mum's side,
that's what I've been told, that you look at your mum's dad.
My granddad's got hair.
Cool. We're
Quite a lot of hair. So I'm what's the word? Kushti? Is that a word? Right.
Yes, Del boy.
Let's like make a meta comment about these fucking shitty questions.
Should we have linked to these questions in the description?
Yeah. I'm just imagining, right, the kind of person that wrote them is kind of a corporate guy or corporate woman. I'm kind of being a bit sexist. Imagining a woman because of all the style questions. I imagine it probably has the author on the bottom. Let's have a look.
My God, there's a lot of questions on that article.
It doesn't say who wrote it.
What are the comments? I'm interested.
I love this. I've never seen an icebreaker list as comprehensive as this. Note to Antarctic explorers: you need this.
This is totally like.
Oh my God.
The author just said to her corporate friend or their corporate friends.
Yeah, like.
Could you please just leave comments, but leave these specific comments?
Yeah,
I'm giving you.
Yeah, like these are kind of like corporate types, you know, in a meeting. Like, oh, what was your funny hair faux pas? Imagine we had told this fucking dildo story. Just imagine that. Let's just sit there in a meeting with like 40-year-olds that, you know, just, hey, welcome to your first day at work. Oh, we're going to do some funny icebreakers. I don't know what that voice was. Jesus Christ. Oh, what is one article of clothing that you would leave someone for a date with? Oh, dildos.
I think like doing kind of like team building like interviews when you go to jobs and stuff.
Yeah. Oh God.
Never do one of those, Adam. For the love of
Have you done them?
I've done them. That's why I've got a job.
Hey, I had 2 jobs.
Had to be the primary work.
Working for the council is the worst thing in the world.
If you do work for the council,
do it. And if you do, you're simultaneously a saint or you're probably an asshole.
Please don't burn bridges for yourself. I'm just saying. I don't want this podcast, this very...
No, right?
I imagine short-lived podcast to be the demise of your future.
What do you mean? We don't have our names or anything on it. Fuck the council. You're all cunts. No,
Yeah,
you're not. I'm joking. I'm sorry, Sandy. There was no Sandy where I worked. I don't know why I said Sandy. There were some really nice people, actually. I'm just being a bit... I hated the job.
Thank you for derailing this
Sorry.
thing.
But yeah, like, these are the dumbest questions, right? This one, and again, who was your childhood actor, actress crush? Like, what's...
Oh, I'd have an actor, like, the first woman I ever noticed...
Not actor, actress, or like a hermaphroditic person. Like, one or the other, I assume is the...
I got that. Okay. I'm not a fucking idiot.
Funny, Alex. I know it doesn't work very often.
Yeah. I think this podcast has established this.
Yeah, go on.
I think, well, apparently the first woman I ever noticed was Kylie Minogue. And so I was like 2, apparently I was like, Mummy, that lady's very pretty, isn't she?
Oh, a cute little story.
But even now, I would totally do Kylie Minogue.
I like how you just did that really cute, like, oh, as a kid, it was the first woman. It's like, Mummy, isn't she beautiful? Oh, dude, can't even know. I'd fucking... Like,
even for an older woman, she's a good-looking older woman.
She doesn't age. Like, she's just like, I don't understand. She's so, like, I'm gay, so, you know, whatever. I'm allowed to do this shit. She just
you're allowed to.
looks incredible from, like, I don't understand it. What is she doing?
She had cancer as well.
Did she?
She got over cancer.
Oh my
and
god.
Still looks good. Because
What happened?
She's a celeb. She probably can afford surgery and stuff.
Well, yeah, I suppose, but was she doing plastic surgery? I imagine she probably
Who doesn't have
has.
plastic surgery these days?
Yeah,
if you're
Botox,
rich.
all that stuff.
Exactly.
Drinking the blood of virgin children. That's a thing, isn't it?
How does she adopt like a bunch of children from Africa? If she has, I wonder where they are now. In her blender.
Well, you don't have to kill them.
In her blender. Who is your crush, Adam?
I actually don't. For some reason, I've never found actors like, other than the guy from Shadowhunters. This is a weird thing. I haven't ever really had like a celebrity crush. Even the best looking celebrities, there's something about them being actors makes them off-putting for me. And I don't get it. Like,
they don't have to be actors though.
Well, it does literally say actor or actress.
We have
Alexis.
We have gone beyond this list, Adam. We're going rogue here.
Rogue Nation.
We're going Rogue Nation. That was we saw Mission Impossible for that.
That was alright.
It was alright. I really enjoyed it.
You liked it more than I did, but
Yeah,
I'm not into those kind of films.
There you go. There's something about us. I like action movies a lot. Adam doesn't.
I don't hate them. It's just they're not my favourite genre.
Not for Adam.
Yeah.
Like apart from that Mad Max Fury Road, just sort of like.
Yeah, but I almost think that was a little bit of a. I was about to say gender bender.
What? What?
No, genre bending a little bit because it had. Yeah, it was action. It was clearly an action film.
Yeah.
It kind of had the whole post-apocalypse thing. It was kind of a bit more interesting, I suppose. Yeah. So my actor, I can't think of many. I have a particular body type I like, but it's very underrepresented.
What is the body type you like?
It's like oh god.
Getting to know you, to know
it's like,
all about you.
Kind of
not cutting that out.
Powerlifter build, but not the fat powerlifter build.
Like a Henry Cavill.
No, that's too chiseled. So a little bit of fat on the muscle. Like bear, but without the bear look, but without all the hair.
I'm looking for a hairless bear.
Yeah, basically a hairless bear. It's what I'm interested in.
So what if do you know who True Geordie is?
I have no idea who that is.
He did the.
I'm trying to think of a famous example, but that's the thing. Like, and I'm not talking the dad look. I kind of dad bod, but on a younger person, but more muscly than dad bod. It's a very specific thing, and all the really hot guys in Hollywood are too chiseled for it. And I think that it puts me off because they're too perfect.
So if Henry Cavill was like, "Hey, I don't want to fuck," you'd be like, "Nah, you don't. You're too chiseled for me, Henry Cavill."
Do you not? Maybe this is just really getting into my personality, but would you? I might say no. There have been times on Grindr when
I've seen the people you've slept with from Grindr, and you turned down Henry Cavill.
No,
your priorities are wrong.
No, right? Because I think that sometimes I'll get messaged by someone that's really good looking, and I'm just like, there's something else going on here. You can't be interested. So I won't message them back sometimes. So I'm like, there's no point. I'm just wasting my time because,
I detect self-esteem issues.
Oh yeah, okay. I don't want to make this go too serious, but I find that with like actor types, they're so successful, so good looking, and so it's just kind of like there's too much. There's too much to them. So you
need a failed actor.
No, someone who's normal.
You needed a Mel Gibson in your life.
As a young guy, Mel Gibson was pretty.
It was the mullet. The mullet definitely did it for Mel Gibson.
Yeah, I fucking love a mullet.
Next question.
I don't. But this one's actually quite fun. If you were a wrestler, what would be your entrance theme song? We can change that because wrestlers kind of, I don't know, it's a bit dated for us. What about MMA? Like an MMA, because we kind of know a little bit more about that. Walk on to that.
Well, they're both pretty much the same, to be honest with you. They're both looking for the same effect.
Yeah, I suppose.
So, song. So, yeah, I think maybe like, why can't we be friends? Why can't we? That's a Simpsons joke.
So many people have made that though. Like, not actually done it, but said that to me. Like that exact one.
Really?
That's weird.
Okay, it's from the Simpsons episode where he fights not Mike Tyson.
That's a great episode.
I think you can't go for my favourite song. Cause
What's your favourite song then?
And it's kind of like Tyler, well, up there's like
Teeny in it.
He has one of my favourite songs, like No Other Way. I really like.
Yeah.
Like Tiny Dancer by Elton John.
That is a weird walk-on song.
Yeah, like I think maybe Freebirds is another favourite song of mine. I think maybe if I had
that is a good song.
The guitar solo, but edit it from like the chorus then to the guitar solo as a walk on.
Yeah,
that might be quite good, I imagine.
I would want to full meme it though. But the thing is, right?
Well, you're more internet savvy than me.
No, I don't mean in that sense. Just kind of jokey song. Okay. The problem with that though is I think that really works if you win.
Yeah.
If you lose, it makes you look even more pathetic.
Yeah.
So, and knowing me,
Adam would lose.
I would probably. I'm just not a fighter. I don't think. I can't. Like I did jiu-jitsu and MMA for a while, and
quite recently.
Yeah, quite recently. And I quite like the jiu-jitsu, but I'm going to uni in 2 months, and the place I'm going to uni doesn't really have a place to do it. So I've kind of just thought, fuck it, I'll just sack it in. But with that, I just don't have the fighting spirit. I'm so concerned. Like I would punch.
Do you feel sorry? Do you go, oh, I'm sorry? No, I'm sorry.
No, Joe. I would punch, hit the person, and go, oh, sorry, and they would literally look at me like, you're here to do that. You're here to punch me.
I guess you need to get over that initial barrier of you need to hurt somebody in this.
But then I also think I could be that type of person to like just go mental with a fork and like start stabbing people.
Yeah, I can imagine that. Do you want to know how? I've got a good story for
Jesus Christ.
And so,
oh no,
when we were like early teens, Adam had like a video camera.
Oh yeah.
And so like we always just try to we tried to do like peep show.
No, we did a ghost hunt.
Yeah, but I'm doing an example. I'm going to get into that. So when we tried to do like fake peep show, but our own version, it was bad.
I've not got rid of those tapes. I really should.
We should find them and rewatch them and cringe.
I really should get rid of those.
No, you shouldn't. You keep them. Definitely keep them forever on a file.
Burn them.
And we also tried to do quite a few scary ones. And there was this time when I had my hood up. Okay, and Adam was like right in front of my face filming me, full knowledge that I was right in front of him. We're in a dark room. He had like his night vision mode on or something.
Yeah.
And I went like eyes like scary look into the camera. I went boo, and Adam immediately goes ah, and like with the hand he's got the camera in, punched me round the face with the camera.
Yeah, it was like just bashed it right in like the eye socket.
Right in my eye socket, and then. We watched it back, and the camera's still filming.
So
and I'm going like, oh, fuck's sake, Jesus,
sorry,
why
Alex.
did you do that?
Sorry.
I'm sorry. And then the camera falls on the ground, it's sideways, and all you see is me running to the bathroom.
But he's bleeding.
Yeah. I had a gash under my eye from where you fucking punched me with a camera.
To be fair, you make it sound like it was choreographed. You didn't tell me you were going to do that. It was just a natural reflex for when someone jumps at you to go...
But generally, a jump is scary when you don't know they're there. Not when I'm full view of the camera.
No, because I was kind of like looking into the camera thing.
At my face, which is full front and
but
centre.
I think I was just concentrating elsewhere a little bit, and it just happened. I was like, fuck.
So yeah, Adam hit me around the face with a video camera trying to make a scary thing.
What was the question again?
I can't remember.
Oh, it was Rest the Walk On. I don't have one. I just wouldn't do it. No, I'll probably be something like, what's the worst song?
Friday.
Yeah, that'd be quite a good one.
And you do the kind of the swinging,
clicking.
Is it Carlton from Fresh Prince?
But again, you'd have to win, because then you'd kind of be seen, because you'd just come across as a bit of a prick. But that's fine if you're good, like Conor McGregor. If you're good, it's fine. If you're shit, you just come across as even more of a prick.
So I think we need one for you then.
Yeah, because there's no way that I would win in... Well, let's be honest, Alex. Neither of us would win in a fight.
I think you just need like a Taylor Swift song or something.
You're the reason
for the teardrops on my guitar.
That one.
There's a story behind that song.
Oh, no.
Can we tell that story?
It's really long. I'll just short thing. I sent a guy that I liked who had no interest in it. I know
there's more to this.
There is more to this, but it's a very long story, so it's not worth getting into. But I sent a guy that had no interest in me.
He wasn't gay. Had a girlfriend.
Not gay. Had a girlfriend. That song once, just to tell him how I felt. I don't know what
How I felt.
Oh yeah, how
Adam,
I felt.
You're really hurting my feelings.
Oh Jesus.
Where's this going? Okay.
Right. So there's. Okay. It's been split into sessions. These are the funny icebreaker questions. Fucking hell, if I could speak. These are the great icebreaker questions. So we're pulling out the big guns now. This is actually quite a cool question, but it's not very funny. What is the best piece of advice you've ever been given?
I think just a good advice for life, and doing like your parents say to you, don't care what other people think.
That's bullshit.
Just be you. There's a lot of truth behind that. I think you need to I am way too self-conscious as a person, and I think that definitely.
I'm the same. I would agree.
And that hinders me in my life a lot. And so if I just kind of I'm just doing what I'm doing. Just I should I always worried about what if people know that I like this thing or that I do a podcast? What are people going to say? And so I think if I just no self-consciousness and just got on with what I normally do, I'd be a lot happier, I feel.
Yeah, but you're rightly adjusted. I feel right. And this might kind of make me sound like a cunt, but oh well.
Not far off.
Yeah. I think certain people hear that advice and you get the kind of hold up spork kind of person. Wow, I'm so interesting. And they're actually the most vapid, annoying pieces of shit in the world. But they hear, just be yourself. And they almost think, okay, I could be the most uncontained myself. And any infraction on that of people going, hey, you're being an annoying prick. Mm-hmm. They're wrong. So I don't know, I feel as if you need to give that advice in moderation. So it's you say...
Also, don't be a dick.
Yeah, but you shouldn't... I know someone that I feel is too self-conscious. And I've told them, I've said, look, you're being really, calm down. But then there are people where it's I don't care what other people say. Like my brother's a bit like this. I probably shouldn't...
If you have a brother...
If I have a brother, yeah. It's I don't care what other people say. I'm just so random. It's well, actually, people don't like that. And it's okay, you don't have to conform yourself to what people like all the time, but you kind of... There's a push and pull, and I don't like that advice. I'm just going to say, I think you need to mediate it with, don't make your life so that it's so self-contained by what other people think, but sometimes what other people think can be quite helpful. I think it has to be moderate.
Be honest with yourself. Maybe.
Yeah. Don't tell the truth, or at least don't lie. Sorry, that's a reference to the best-selling... No, it's John Peterson. Sorry.
Oh. John Peterson. Whoop, whoop.
That's a... we're a bunch of incels now. For mentioning him.
I don't know. I don't know enough about John Peterson to understand that one.
No. It's in his book. I've read his book. It's alright. I'd recommend it. It's quite a fun book to read.
What's it called?
12 Rules for Life.
Okay.
It's quite good. It's an alright book. It's not... I wouldn't...
John Peterson, you need to stop the...
I don't think anyone will pick up what you just said.
I don't think anyone's going to watch this. No.
One of mine is really specific.
Okay.
Right. So I had this tutor. I left uni. I have two.
Because your brain turned to your...
No, I kind of had a little bit of a quote unquote. I don't want to overdo it, but
But let's overdo it.
I kind of just
mental breakdown, your head case.
Yeah, kind of a little bit, but it was linked to a lot of things happening in my life at the time. So I kind of found that I had to leave uni, and I had a meeting with my tutor, and he was a very serious man. He was quite uptight. He was a nice guy, weird sense of humour. He was German, and he's I don't know. I've never mentioned what uni I went to. It's just because there were certain things I'm saying that could quite easily identify him, but. He was a hard scientist, I'll just say that. So he's very literal, but one of the things he said, he was look, it looks like... We had this conversation where he's I don't think you should leave, and I was well, I just don't think I can continue for a year. Mm-hmm. We had this conversation where he kind of effectively said, look, it looks like you've kind of made up your decision. Just bear in mind that it would be very easy for you now to drift. Just not... think about what you're doing, go, oh yeah, I'll have a year out. And it wasn't the most profound advice, it was just, don't be an idiot. But the way he kind of gave it across, he was very much look, you could drift now. You could find that you regret not going to university, you regret not pursuing things because of your current state at the moment. So just make sure that you have a plan. And at that point, I actually didn't have a plan. And I was kind of just like, I've just got to get out of here. And because he gave me that advice, it really streamlined my thinking. I got a job, and while I was at that job, I hated both the jobs that I've had over this year. But it kind of made me think, okay, what do I want to do? I was very careful about choosing what I'm going to do next in life. And I don't think I would have been so much if he hadn't have been so... And I was not actually going to go to this meeting because I was so in a particular state at the time that it was like... It was quite difficult to go to this meeting, but it was probably one of the most...
important meeting?
It was very... Yeah, and there's a very specific bit of advice he gave that's like about presentations. So in the first year, we had to do a presentation to him. And we were all of ours were shit, but it wasn't our fault completely because they told us like 2 days before, oh yeah, you've got these presentations you got to do to your tutors. So, but one of the pieces of advice he said is make sure your presentation has a point. Like, you know, it's funny because we're doing this fucking episode that has it's like all over the place. But he was like, if you do a presentation, like I did it on why calico cats have the colour they have, like boring as shit. But the way I presented it was terrible. It was like, you need to have an idea of what people are going to get out of the talk. And it doesn't matter about the finer details. It's very much, I want the audience to be able to answer this question. So that's a really specific one. He was a very profound guy in weird ways. But, yeah. So that's mine.
So his advice for you, to boil it down into...
It was, let's say if you're going to make a big change in life... Make sure you can do that. You can.
Is it just to make a plan and be realistic?
Yeah, be realistic.
Okay.
And don't think like, yeah, I've escaped this thing. It's, well, actually, what am I going to do next? And it wasn't the best advice. I think it was just I needed to hear something like that from someone in that position, because your parents are a bit like, well, they're going to be sympathetic. They're going to kind of give you they're going to give you good advice, but they're going to give you kind of quite parental advice, where it's like, oh, they're coming from a place of love. This guy was coming from a place of, I know your academic record, I know you from a purely your work ethic and what I know about you. It's like, well, do this. So yeah, so a very serious answer, started with fucking dildos.
It got very pretty. We went very profound from dildo suit to this. That's nice.
That's what you can get out of this podcast.
Variety. I enjoyed that, Adam. Thank you. That was nice.
Oh, thank you. These are quite good. These are better, actually. We shouldn't have started with the funny. Well, the funny ones got us to talk about stupid shit. But some of these I'm going to answer proper seriously, though. But okay. I'll try and be not too... Because one bit of that is fine, but... this is depressing. When you die, what do you want to be remembered for?
Ooh.
This podcast, baby!
Loot Crate sponsorships!
That damn Loot Crate. We're going to get a Loot Crate sponsorship, guys.
It's raining crate! What do I want to remember for? I don't know. I guess it also kind of depends what you want from life as well.
Yeah.
Like, do you want to be a parent? That kind of thing.
Yeah.
I think I like to be a parent, and I think...
That's good.
If I could just remember, like, my kids remember me of, like, he was a good dad.
Oh.
That's sweet. I would die quite happily. It's like, he was a good dad.
Yeah.
That's fine. That's
nice.
Fine with me. If I could pass on this podcast to my children for the Loot Crate.
Oh, give them the
It's
dollar.
raining money!
Oh, Jesus. Come out.
No, definitely not.
Oh, I don't really have an answer for that.
Okay.
I don't know. I'm going to be dead, so I won't know. But I kind of... Because I'm hoping that... Well, I don't know what I want out of life. I kind of hope...
A golden statue of you.
Yeah, a golden statue of me in the streets when I create the communist utopia. You shall kneel before me.
You sound like Zod from Superman 2. Kneel before Zod.
Zod, tell that to Zod Snap Neck.
Oh, fucking hell. There's two different Zods, but sure. What's the next question we've got?
What's your favourite item you bought this year?
Nintendo Switch.
Mine is definitely the multicoloured dildo suit.
Yep, we're still on that, people. We're still
what is mine? Mine's... I'm trying to think. I bought I've not really bought a lot of stuff this year.
It could be like digital games as well if you really want to.
I played Dark Souls 3. That was quite fun. I wouldn't say it's the best purchase, but I thought it was quite good fun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we were pretty avid gamers.
Actually,
that's another good...
No, Audible.
Audible.
I know, does that count because it's a subscription service? It's one of the best things in the world.
Let's go there. You go with Audible.
Audible, give us a sponsor. Come on, Audible. We need the moolah. No, seriously, Audible is fantastic. Like, it's just...
I guess it's kind of like, I listen to a lot of podcasts and I don't really have time for books. So
Yeah.
maybe Audible sounds like a good solution to my problem.
No, seriously. Sponsorship joke aside, seriously, I could not recommend it enough. The job I was just in, I hated it, but it was such a monotonous job. At one point, I had such contempt for the job. I didn't even ask if I could do this. I just started putting my headphones in and listening to audiobooks. Mm-hmm. And one of them was like lectures in philosophy of silence, because I'm a fucking sado. But it was just like I was sitting there working and doing the work to as much of a level as you fucking can. It was like the most simple shit. But at the same time, I was listening to lectures from some guy that, cost £6 for like 20 lectures. It's like, I'm paying £9,000 for uni next year. I'm doing this. Like, what the fuck? It's so good. Mm-hmm. But that is my best.
And you also listen to Jordan Peterson's 12 Walks of Life as well.
Yeah, it's a good. And I want to make clear, because he is a bit of a controversial figure, I don't find myself agreeing with everything he says.
What we're trying to say is we hate trans people.
Yeah, effectively. No,
don't take that out of context.
His book is very interesting to read. Like it's like the most bleak self-help book you could possibly ever read. Because it's about, there's a chapter about like lobsters. School shooters. There's a chapter about lobsters. It's an interesting book, and making clear, I'm going to uni to do a half psychology degree, so it's kind of within my interests.
Mm-hmm. Well, even if it's not out there, I can still read that book and I'm not doing psychology.
No, I know, but it kind of like gives a context of why I would necessarily read it. I don't know why I'm finding myself having to defend my position, because I don't think he's that controversial.
He's really not. But I think let's lean a bit more to the screened aspect of this podcast.
Yeah,
I think we should talk about movies. And so, what would you say is like your favourite films? You already mentioned adaptation. What else would you include in that list?
God, that's a big question, and I would almost say I don't really have favourite films, but I have ones that I kind of think that stuck with me in a particular way. Mm-hmm. And I wouldn't even call these films great films necessarily. One of them, for adaptation, Freddy Got Fingered, of course, one of the best films ever made. No, I'd say adaptation. Mm-hmm. I just think it was just. I think it was really my introduction to, because I kind of wasn't that interested in films for ages, and I wouldn't even say I'm like some film buff now, but kind of introduced me to media can be quite interesting. It can provoke certain ideas, thoughts, and kind of, because adaptation is kind of this weird meta commentary on screenwriting and being a writer, and I would almost go as far to say it's a meta commentary on adaptation and how you adapt things. And it's surprisingly Nicolas Cage's best performance is so brilliant.
Well,
he plays two characters.
He's a good actor.
He's a great actor, but he's in so much shit. And if you look at the description of this film, it could be seen as one of his shitter films just from the description of the film. And it's not the kind of film I can talk about because it's quite easy to spoil, but basically it's about Charlie Kaufman adapting a book called The Orchid Thief,
played by Nicolas Cage.
Played by Nicolas Cage, and I think it was like my first real introduction to, I don't know, interesting films. It's like, films can kind of be more than just a straight narrative, even though I really do like kind of narratively driven films. It was like, it's very funny. There's a part very near the beginning that had me in tears. It's
due
weird.
To laughter or to...
No, it was from sadness. There's and it kind of has this weird aspect about the power of writing, and kind of, it is brilliant. And that's why it's my favourite film. But I wouldn't even necessarily say it's like the best film ever made. I hate
But that doesn't matter. I think favourite
Yeah.
movies are not... This is the objectively best film ever made.
And the only other one that really comes to mind is Fantastic Mr. Fox.
Wes Anderson, yeah.
Which is Wes Anderson film. And I would say it's his least liked Wes Anderson film. From what I've seen people say...
Bottle Rocket is probably his least...
Maybe. But when I see
it was his
people...
first movie, I think people that give it more of a pass.
I see a lot of people say it's like the anomaly out of all the stuff he's done. I think it's his best film.
Yeah, I do think it's very different because I think one, it is a PG film.
Which is bizarre.
All of those are rated 15.
But I don't...
Rate 12, 15.
The thing is, I think some people go into it thinking it's a kids' film. I don't. I think it's
Not
like
at
a
all.
commentary on kids' films.
In what sense?
As in, there's so many bizarre jokes about kind of like, the whole context of what they're doing that kind of come across as if, not to do the whole wink, 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 nudge, nudge, we're being really clever kind of thing, but
it's a very clever movie, which was
yeah, and it's wonderful
beautifully
looks.
animated, amazing voice acting.
Yeah, incredible voice acting, and it's hilarious.
Yeah.
It is like
It takes Roald Dahl's work
yeah.
and doesn't directly adapt it either.
No, well that's the thing. That's why I think it's kind of a meta commentary, is because it kind of isn't the same thing at all. It isn't really an adaptation. It's kind of a Mick take of the film. Like it's not really trying to be like that. That's what I mean. Like they keep calling him a fantastic fox, and it's kind of really forced into the ground. Like, oh, you're a really fantastic fox, and it's like, really? But it's really funny, and I'd say because he's done 2 stop motion films now, and I would argue that most people would say Isle of Dogs is better.
I disagree.
But yeah, I think this is far better than Isle of Dogs, and my reasoning being is every scene in Fantastic Mr. Fox is perfect in my opinion, and that's maybe me being too far, but I can't think of like a section of the film that I wouldn't think is perfectly executed. There just isn't.
I think I also agree, but I think it's also because Our Dogs is also like a 2-hour movie.
Isle of Dogs was longer,
Yeah.
but it felt flat. It had bits like characters that just didn't really
Didn't need to be
do
in there,
much.
yeah. Some of the character arcs I don't think worked so well in Isle
Some of the
Dogs.
dogs just didn't really have too much going for them, and it's a great film. Like I really like Isle of Dogs, but Fantastic Mr. Fox is like if someone says, "Oh, what's your favourite film?" It's my favourite animated film, and actually, maybe it'd be interesting to go into animation. Like,
Sure.
I think it was one of the few films where I was like, animation has always frustrated me because I love it as a medium, but in the West particularly, it's got a very
It's for kids.
or
Yeah.
comedy, kids or animated comedy.
Yeah.
Like I watched recently, what's it called? Final Space.
Which
And
is
it
a
was
Netflix show.
It's a Netflix show, and it's surprisingly good. But I almost thought this could go a lot farther on the not comedy aspects, and it does in the last few episodes. And it's almost like the comedy aspects are holding it back. It's weird because if you talk to someone about Rick and Morty, BoJack Horseman, I don't know about Final
F is
Space.
for Family.
F is for Family. They all go, oh well, they've got these so grown-up themes, and it's really that's what they talk about. That's what BoJack Horseman's talked about. So why is the comedy? And BoJack Horseman is very good as a comedy. I'm not saying this, but why does it need to be a comedy? Like why does every animated show that's
Because no one will watch it, that's why.
But is that true though? Because we hear so much like, oh, the adult themes. The adult themes is what people watch BoJack for now. So it's like
I guess so. I think that's
the
less
comedy's
so.
less
That happens less with like say Rick and Morty. I think it's devolved into.
Oh, Rick and Morty
is just memes at this point. And it's like Pickle Rick. That's the whole reason.
Yeah, but
It's more attracted to the mainstream. I guarantee that the amount of people who watch Rick and Morty compared to BoJack Horseman is.
Oh yeah,
drastic.
but Rick and Morty was just such a bizarre cultural phenomenon. And I would argue BoJack Horseman got marketed very oddly. Like it kind of.
It started off as like
It starts off
I've been
very
rewatching
Family
it.
Guy-esque.
Yeah, it's like a Family Guy cut to this thing we just mentioned. And it's funny,
Yeah.
but it kind of came to like I felt like dramatically in that show. There were points I was like, hands over my eyes, just like, oh, please don't do this horrendous choice.
but
Because I
it
care
kind
about
of-
characters so much.
Well, with the Emmys recently, Pickle Rick, which I think is one of the worst episodes of Rick and Morty, and it might be. I thought it was garbage, pure garbage, and I loved the first 2 seasons of Rick and Morty, but I was so aggravated by that episode, and it's up for an Emmy. But it kind of says what the state of what people view animation as. It's like, oh, this thing that got memed to hell, and BoJack Horseman in its last season had one of the most moving episodes of a show I've ever seen. It's called, I don't think it's called
Point?
Times Arrow.
Times Arrow.
That's the first episode. There's episode 11 of season 4 is about Bojack's mother's dementia, and it is utterly moving. Like, it's brilliant. It completely like uses an interesting form, and we're having a conversation about when to use animation, and
I think we should save some of this for another podcast.
We're going to talk about that in full on a podcast. But one of the things is just like there's a point at which she's looking at a part of her past, and she's remembering a part of her past, and all the people's faces are scribbled out, and then that comes up later in the episode of this photo with the faces scribbled out, and it's like, just you couldn't do that easily with. It's perfect, and it got nothing. Didn't get any recognition at the Emmys, and it's just unbelievable that it didn't. I'm actually shocked because it was masterful, and people like BoJack Horseman. So it's like, why is this? Why? And this is the thing. So animation frustrates me in the way it's done in the West,
especially even like if you look at the Oscars, especially.
Yeah.
If you look at the animation category in general, you have like
Boss Baby.
There was one year when you have Shaun the Sheep was animated, which is actually a good animated movie.
Good film. Yeah.
But at the same time, you have Anomalisa in the same category.
No, it was Inside. I know people like Inside Out, but
I'm saying, but you have Anomalisa and Shaun the Sheep in the same category, and it just comes under the tag of animation.
Well, I think Anomalisa should have got like either best screenplay, or it should have got more recognition. But because it was an animated film, it's like, oh, let's put it in the animation.
Exactly, but it doesn't fit there. That's why you have like best comedy, best drama. You have you have these separations, but in animation you don't have that.
No,
and I think that adds.
You don't really get that in the Oscars though.
Golden Globes.
Globes, yeah.
I think that also then adds to the idea that animation is just for funny kids movies.
Yeah,
it doesn't help.
And the last few years have had some of the kind of most like there's a film that I absolutely adore. It's called what's it called? This guy has won in the animated shorts department actually. It's Such a Beautiful Day. And by God, it's the most simple animation. It's stick figures, but it's one of the most moving films I've ever seen. And again, it's about mental health and mental degradation. And this is the film. Is one guy basically monologuing for the whole film. And the guy has quite an annoying voice, but it really works for some reason. And it's an hour long. And it's like, we're getting so many interesting things that are happening as the technology gets better. You have so much interesting things you can do with animation, and to put it in this box of that's kid stuff. Like I see it on serious film boards, people talking about films quite seriously. They go, why are you watching this animated thing? It's like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, why? Like, it's a medium. It's not a thing. And I remember the reaction to Isle of Dogs. Some of the reaction from quite people that like Wes Anderson in the film thing is like, why can't you just do another live action, as if that's more proper. And stop motion is, and this was the thing, because we're going to do an episode in the future about our favourite animated films and when to use animation, so look out for that.
Yeah, let's try not to step on the toes of that too much though.
No, but I was surprised at how much stop motion's in there, like in my top, because I kind of made a top 20 list just
I think
in preparation.
For me, I think Mary and Max are one of my favourites as well.
Film. Yeah,
and
there's so much beautiful things you can do with animation that you just can't do with like live action. Live action is inherently
flawed,
a limited medium.
Because CGI costs a lot of money. If you want to do sort of the crazy stuff you can do in animation, it's very limited in terms of how it looks. It looks fake. You won't believe it as an audience. And a little bit more drawing is not going to be as expensive as a little bit more practical effects or CGI. And so,
well, that's the thing, because they talk about animation is quite expensive. But actually, it's like, well, if you look at how expensive films are now because of the CGI demands, like I'm surprised sci-fi doesn't get more stuff, and it is starting to because of
Blade Runner 2049. What do you mean, like in animation, or is in like in general? Okay,
because it's like that's perfect, because it's like what happens with aliens is that you get humanoid aliens everywhere because that's the easiest way to do aliens.
Now you can make literally anything.
You can literally have like weird ass blobs as human emotive
5
characters.
eyes and 7 testicles. Yeah.
And Rick and Morty, and I really do think
we enjoy Rick and Morty.
Yeah, like the last season was, I would go as far to say it was just such removal from the first two in quality. I don't know what happened really, but
I think we had to make it more mainstream. That affected it a lot more. I definitely think that.
I don't know what the reasons are, really, but
we'll get into that in the other podcast episode.
Yeah, we'll talk about animation a lot more, because that's a personal kind of love of mine. Alex appreciates it, but maybe not as
not as much as you, but I do get where you're coming from.
Yeah.
But we talked earlier, which was probably half an hour ago at this point, about you talked about adaptation as your introduction to movies as an art form.
Yeah.
I think I'm sure favourite movies as well. For me, I feel that I saw The Prestige when I was about 12 or 13, and I saw it completely because I couldn't get to sleep one night, and so I came downstairs. My mum was watching a movie.
Yeah.
So I sat down and watched the entirety of The Prestige with her. And have you seen The Prestige?
No.
It's one of the. It's a Nolan movie, so of course nothing has twists and turns and difference in time and things like that. And I'd never seen a movie which sort of made me go, "Oh, that's clever."
Yeah.
Like that. And I was like, "Oh, films can do this. This is pretty amazing." And so that very same night, I went to bed in quotation marks, and I downloaded IMDb and just looked up the filmography. Who's this guy? Who's this Christopher Nolan guy? Oh, we did Batman Begins. I like Batman Begins. It's got Batman in it. And so that introduced me to the whole world of his filmography, and then also went, my dad keeps talking about Pulp Fiction and Tarantino. Maybe I should look this up.
You introduced me to Pulp Fiction.
Yeah, Pulp Fiction is one of my favourite movies.
Yeah.
Because it also does similar thing to Prestige.
I don't get that far, but personally, it is a very good film.
Yeah, and that sort of, similar themes to Prestige of, different stories and like different perspectives, which is what Pulp Fiction is entirely about. There's like 5 interlinking stories. And so that is one of my favourite movies, Pulp Fiction definitely. Tarantino in general, I think, is one of the best directors working.
Yeah.
I think you would agree. You're not like crazy about Tarantino as I am, but could you agree he's one of the best working directors at this present time?
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah, I wouldn't disagree. He's kind of... It's hard to say though with directors, because... Yeah, I would say so. Yeah, I would agree.
In terms of consistency,
he's ambitious.
As well.
He's ambitious and consistent.
Mm-hmm.
Like people meme Wes Anderson a bit because he's got a very particular style, but I'd argue he is as well.
Very, very consistent.
He makes consistently good films, but I don't know if, like, I don't know what's better though. Like, if you're consistently good or you make one masterpiece, and I'm not like, as much as I really like Tarantino. And mate, you would 100% disagree with this, but I don't really see anything he's done as a masterpiece.
Is it because maybe
but what I view as a masterpiece is very much different.
Also,
I'll say Denis Villeneuve.
Denis Villeneuve.
Oh, I can't say his name.
Director of Sicario and Blade Runner. Arrival. Like I've seen.
That's another one of my favourite films actually.
I've seen 2 of his films. I've seen Blade Runner and Sicario.
Oh, Blade Runner
24/9 is fucking incredible.
It is incredible. But that's the thing as well. Like I would say that's going to go down because it didn't do very well
financially. But neither did Blade Runner. The original Blade Runner.
Yeah, but I think that'll go down as a masterpiece.
I think he's going to go down. Like we look at people like Scorsese now and Spielberg. 20, 30 years, I think people are going to see Villeneuve as the same kind of director. This, almost. Not, I don't want to use visionary so loosely, but let's just say visionary for lack of a better word.
Well, the kind of films I like, and this is where Villeneuve
we did GCSE French, can't you tell?
Yeah. The way he kind of, I think he like the kinds of films that I like kind of go a bit philosophical, and I'm not saying that's better, but that's the kind of film I like, and I think the reason I don't like kind of Tarantino stuff as much as maybe you do is because it never really does that. It's not trying to though, so that's not me saying he's inferior. It's just that I personally find I like films, and with Villeneuve, like as much as like, Blade Runner is beautiful, but it also has this really interesting kind of subtext about AI, about what it means to be human, what it means to have emotion, and like I've thought about film so much. Specifically, what's her name? The character, the AI one.
Joy.
Joy, that's it. For some reason, I had Eve in my head. Joy, yeah. Like I've thought about whether she was just an AI or whether she had emotion, like so much.
And I think we disagree.
Yeah, I think we do. That'd be an interesting topic, maybe for. We could go into it now.
Sure, we'll go for it a bit.
Yeah, fuck it.
Because
this is a free form, like kind of. If you're still even listening to this,
good on you. I think. I think it also has because we're thinking about editing parts of it into separate videos.
Yeah,
and
maybe.
I think we've got there's a good sort of segments we can add it into like 10-minute videos here.
Yeah.
And so, but my view of Joy from Blade Runner 2049 is that she's just specifically made by what's the company called? Do you remember what it was? Tyrell? Not Tyrell. That's the original company.
I don't know.
Jared Leto's company.
Yeah.
All she's made is to please Kay, who's Ryan Gosling's character, to make him buy more shit.
Yeah.
Nothing she does is legitimately emotional for him.
Yeah.
Which might be the very upfront view about it. I'm not sure. People have had different reactions to it.
Yeah.
That's what I was not entirely sad when she died, and that's not a flaw in the movie.
No.
That's just
because I
because
think the point is
that's
to have
the point.
These
yeah.
kind of. I would fundamentally disagree, and part of mine's a weird argument about. Right, so there's this book called The Archaeology of Mind, the Neuroevolutionary. Oh shit! What is it? Something of emotion.
Very wanky
the Neuroevolutionary Origins of Emotion. By Jaak Pansek, one of the greatest scientists who have ever lived. I can't believe he didn't win a Nobel Prize in his life. Sadly, he passed away a year ago. And Lucy Biven. And this book kind of talks about how emotions are evolved. And of course, this isn't actually applied to AI, but it kind of got me thinking in the sense that what is the best... Because you can't really prove that animals feel emotion. They have the architecture of the mind, but there's a whole argument from a kind of behaviourist perspective that first of all, it doesn't matter. And there's this almost argument that they don't have effective emotional experience. And the argument kind of with Joy is that she doesn't have these emotional experiences. She's mimicking these experiences to get him to buy stuff. Mm-hmm. But mine's a weird evolutionary argument in that the most effective way to make something that appears as if it loves you is to make it actually love the person. So it's like, I think of it like a dog. Oh, God, that sounds so bad. But like we've moulded dogs in a way that they have particular emotions. We basically created an animal that loves, like not to get too sappy, but loves almost unconditionally, but we've made it that way. But would you question if a dog legitimately loves you? It's a product. Mm-hmm. We've moulded it to be this product that, loves people, are very affable, but it wouldn't work if it was a robot doing the same thing, because robots don't act in that way. I don't know. It's the way she acts is so genuine. Like, I don't think, and I know this is a futuristic world, but from a practical standpoint, it's like, well, how would you code love? Well, you'd make it love. Like, so it's a weird semantic argument, kind of. It's like, you could, if you have all the code for love and the behaviours of love and making her genuinely look as if she loves, it's like, well, is she loving? Well, and I would argue, well, the best way to code that would be to make her genuinely love him, to have this almost emotional predisposition to love him. It may be false in the sense that the company codes it so that she does love him, but to make that love genuine. So you see what I mean? Like,
yeah, I get what you mean.
Like, it's more effective to actually have Joy loving him mm-hmm. than to almost code around that fact, to kind of have it so that there's a genuine love there.
True. Okay, I think, yeah. I guess it also kind of depends on...
Well, it depends how
I view her as a product. I think you...
No, I view her as a product as much so, but I would say the best way of selling a product of a woman that loves you indefinitely is to make a woman that loves you. The best way to make that product would be to make something like, the entity that is Joy actually love him. That's the best way you're going to sell that product, is if the love feels genuine. And the best way to make the love feel genuine is to make it genuine. And I think, and this is kind of, that's an argument outside of the film.
Is there then that was kind of, have to ask, it's not wanky, but what is love?
This is where we get into a genuinely really difficult philosophical question about emergentism.
Because love is different for individuals, though.
Yeah.
They can't cater... Joy is one product. She's only one person. So does her personality then change for each individual person who buys her?
Yes. Yeah, I think that could be true, but you can set something where...
So then...
But we're talking about the genuineness of the feelings, though. Not...
From Joy or from
the
Joy? Product? Or from the person buying? Okay, from Joy. Okay.
Because But my argument is effectively this: if you want to make a product, and if you had the capability to do this, and there's a whole argument of whether, there's something special about emotions that makes them not physical. So I'm arguing from somewhat of a physicalist, naturalist position, philosophical position, where you can actually, there's nothing really special about emotions. I do think they're emergent, but they are basically physical. So you can create a machine that has emotions. So that's the whole presupposition of my argument, which, if that's not true, it's complete bullshit. But my argument kind of stems from, well, there's nothing that makes machines any real different to us. Like, we're DNA, so we're capable of emotions, so why wouldn't they be able to? And the best way to make that product, if that is true, if you can code emotions, is to actually make the product feel the emotion. Because, it would feel false otherwise. And I think the point is, it didn't feel false for what's-his-face. K. Yeah. So that's where I'm coming from. But I can completely understand the kind of almost as if she's like a zombie. There's a philosophical argument about zombies where it's like, she appears conscious, but she has nothing going on in there. It's just pure machinery. So I can get that argument, but I fall on the side of thinking she actually does feel emotions.
Okay. That's good, yeah.
Yeah. Well,
I think
there you go.
That'd be a good end clip. And fade out. Let's fade it out now. You can't keep that.
I've got one question. That you can cut this out, but is there a film that you like that you didn't expect to affect you? Kind of that you went into and you were just like, oh my god, that really affected me. Rocky. That's
Rocky, because I don't know, I was going through exam period and I was sort of like, I had a break. I was like, watch a movie. What haven't I watched? I'll watch Rocky. And, I didn't know much about it apart from it's probably going to be your standard, Rocky's an underdog boxer. He's a bit poor and he's going to beat the guy at the end. He's going to become the big hero. I started to watch Rocky and about sort of 45 minutes in, I was like, why is this movie so depressing? Jesus, it's it goes deep into sort of like abuse from the woman he loves. She gets abused by her brother, and his trainer was this failed boxer, but he had his time in the sunshine, but then he sort of faded out. And Rocky's always arguing with him you keep saying when you were the greatest, but when it's my time, and everyone's having a mental breakdown in this movie. And then towards the end, he has his big boxing event. I was like, he's gonna win. This is a time when he's gonna win. He's gonna become, the greatest man ever, Rocky. But no, he loses the fight.
Yeah.
But that's okay, because emotionally, he's found the woman he loves and she loves him. And he's won in the sense that he's no longer some fucking nobody who can barely pay rent and stuff.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my god.
It's so moving.
And then I watched Creed afterwards, and that had a similar thing on me where he is the bastard son of Apollo Creed, who's the main boxer in the first one. And he gets, taken in by Apollo Creed's wife and he's raised, but he always wants to be a boxer. Yeah. And sort of similar to the end of the first Rocky, he's in his main fight and he's losing this big fight, and he's in the corner with his trainer who's now Rocky, and he's like, kid, why do you want to go on? And he's like, because I've got to prove that I'm not an accident. And I was like, oh my god. It really touched me. It's like, wow, it's actually, the Rocky series is surprisingly good for characters. Yeah. And Sylvester Stallone is a really good writer. And so is Ryan Coogler. So yeah, I think Rocky is definitely for me, and Creed, the whole sort of series. But what about you?
I have two. Go on. One of them's semi-jokey and kind of more about my expectations going in and then going out. Mm-hmm. One of them is genuinely I was blown away by it. Can you guess one of them? Because I've talked to you about it before.
Wait.
And it's kind of semi-jokey.
Give me a clue.
It's animated.
Oh, is it Kung Fu Panda 2?
Yes. Okay. That film is a masterpiece. No, okay, I'm kind of joking, semi. I kind of joke around with it a little bit with you, just because. Right. So this context is I was kind of making a new friend with this guy. He was around 14,
You're about 14, yeah.
Yeah,
I
and I was
remember
like,
this.
And he went, oh, hey, do you want to watch Kung Fu Panda 2 with me? I was like, we're 14. Like, you're not that old at 14, but I was like, that's an odd thing to choose.
And you were the wolf boy.
Yeah, fucking fucking wolf t-shirt on.
Wolf t-shirt.
No, the wolves in that film do not get treated very well. But no,
Stop.
they're the bad guys. But no, I went into this film like, I cannot wait till this is over. And honestly, unironically, it's in my top 20. When we get to the top 20 animated films or whatever, it's in my top 10 animated films. I honestly think it's an unloved masterpiece.
But what got to you? What was it?
It's the ending. The ending is absolutely incredible.
Go on, describe it.
So, I don't want to spoil it for people. Basically, the whole thing about the film is to get inner peace, and Poe getting inner peace, and it's kind of presented like I would say the first half of the film isn't amazing.
Yeah.
Like, this is where it's a very personal like film. Like, I like this film a lot, but I almost get why it's not seen as particularly good. But like, it's all about, oh, we've got to get this inner peace, and he's effectively his family. You know, he's raised. If you've not seen the first one, he's raised by this like duck. Basically, he's not raised by. So we don't know where his parents are. He's an orphan, basically, and so he goes to this place called, I think it's like,
doesn't matter what it's called.
This city where he meets this peacock guy who, you know, knows about his past. He gets defeated by this peacock guy, and there's this scene, and I call it like the Panda Village scene. There's this scene where we kind of find out what happens is family. And this was a kids' film, and I would say this is the period of the most pussified kids' film, right?
Okay.
And this is the one few films I was like, oh my god, that's kind of dark. This whole Panda Village was murdered brutally by this fucking dictator guy. But then it's about, and this scene is just incredible. It's about him coming to terms with this, coming to terms with who he is. And it was just a really powerful scene. And I just remember distinctly sitting there in the film. I didn't cry or anything, but sitting there. No, I didn't. No,
That's amazing. Like,
I cry a lot.
Adam's a very emotional man.
I was sat there, but I was like, wow, this is a really beautiful, because the scene's really well done from a technical point of view, because it's got it's really nice like, I would say it's one of the few films that I think really makes 3D animation work, and as a film series, I think it does. But it also intersperses these 2D aspects in really vivid colours, and it's like, wow, this is a really beautiful scene. And I just remember there were like multiple women in the row in front of me crying their eyes out. Because it's basically about his mother dying, and, you know, about her being murdered by a bunch of like rabid wolves. It's like, fucking hell, this is dark. But it was brilliant, and the whole like second act of that film, I think, is just masterful. Mm-hmm. Like, and I was so surprised. I came out of that film, I was like, what did I just watch? And I watched it, and it's one of those films where I watch it and it's like, it can't be that good.
You watched it
like,
again?
I watch it every now and then, because I'm like, it can't be as good as I remembered it being. I was 14 at the time, and every time I watch it, I'm just like, okay, that film's great. Mm-hmm. And yeah, it's in my top, I think it's my 9th, because I made a list for this episode that we're going to do, and I think it's like my 9th favourite animated film, which is like, no one would expect, especially from someone that I would argue, I hate this word, but I do like animated films, and I would argue I watch a lot of animated films. So I don't think it would be on many people's watch lists, but it is on mine.
And it's most likely, if you've probably seen it. I think most people probably just saw Kung Fu Panda 2, just sort of didn't pay much attention.
A lot of people do. I think there's a little cult following for that film, though. Like, a lot of people do have the same feelings I have about it, but then a lot of people are like, oh, it was just average. Yeah. So, but yeah, but my second one, and I think you wouldn't know this one because it's kind of recent, because I watched it again recently, is Guardians of the Galaxy 2.
No, I think
it's a masterpiece. I think it's one of the best films I've ever seen.
What?
I
really?
think it's brilliant.
I mean, it's one of my favourite Marvel movies. I'd definitely put it there.
Yeah,
and the ending definitely really got to me.
I don't even
emotionally. But wow, okay. I really enjoy it.
I wouldn't say it's perfect, because its pacing's a bit odd, and it's got some weird stuff in it. But
weird exposition. The exposition is always great.
And that whole scene where they're going through, like, they're going too quickly and like rockets up, like, it felt really out of place.
I laughed a lot at that.
The comedy in that felt weird, but fair enough. Maybe that's just me. I don't know. The themes were just so
about fatherhood and
about family and about being broken. It's like, this is a film with, like, the fact that Rocket Raccoon was one of the most moving characters in that film. Like, his little interaction at the end with
Yondu.
No, not with Yondu.
Isn't
with
it Yondu?
No, it's when they're having the funeral for Yondu, which again is a fantastic scene.
And father and sons playing in the background by Cat Stevens. And
absolutely incredible.
Yeah, I was in the cinema with my girlfriend. She was just bawling.
Yeah, I had, because I was with you guys, so I did kind of hold.
You went with me.
I went with you, Jordan, and
you didn't see it with me.
I'm sure I went with you and Jordan.
I saw it with Agatha. I didn't see it.
Yeah, but I thought you saw it again with us.
No.
No, okay, maybe not. Well, I was with a few friends, and I was a bit like, being manning up. I was trying not to cry, but I was nearly there. And it's funny, right? To plug another channel, she really needs our help. Lindsay Ellis has a review of the film. Her review had me bawling. Honestly, but it wasn't like necessarily her review that she presented it really well. But because the film affected me so much, her describing the film and its emotional impact with her kind of brought it all back up again. It was. So yeah, that's another one.
Yeah, I'd say that as well. I totally forgot.
But that wasn't as much I went in and didn't expect it to be good. Cause I kind of expected it to be good, but I didn't expect it to be good in the way that it was.
I thought it was like entertainment, like it'd be a good few jokes, good actions, good character interactions.
Because I think that could become, and it being a sequel doesn't help with this, because I think it's easy to be a bit of a cult classic if you're not a sequel, but I think it could be more like it's a very popular film, but
I think
it could be appreciated a lot more as time goes on.
I think I've seen, because I'm part of a few like groups, like Facebook pages and whatnot, who discuss films, and like I listen to a lot of podcasts where people talk about it. In terms of superhero movies, it's actually got a lot of hate.
Yeah, it did. Yeah, a lot of people didn't like it.
People were like, it sucks. I'm like,
well, I do think because it really did go down on the kind of whole family themes. It's like, well, you don't want that necessarily in a film about
a rock talking tree.
And one of the things that Lindsay talked about, which I'm not sure I 100% agree with her, but I kind of do get where she was coming from, was that Chris Pratt didn't get the girl in the end.
Yeah.
Like there was a very much. It was we like each other, but we're not really going to do that kiss, and we're just going to.
I think she mentions it, and she has like a whole thing about Transformers as well.
Yeah,
and she talks about
she talks about. I hate that series.
Oh, okay.
It's a very good series because she does it, but it shows how shit film criticism is, like as an academic discipline, which is a whole nother topic. So let's not get there. But
she talks about how she was comparing the main cast in Transformers movies, and say put it completely simply, is that Mark Wahlberg's character and Shia LaBeouf's character in these movies are assholes.
Yeah.
And the thing is, Star-Lord is also a complete asshole.
Yeah.
But the reason that we sympathise and we like Star-Lord is because he is not treated. What's the word? He's not. Yeah, I can see what you mean. He's not elevated. It's not that's something we aspire to be. He's not rewarded for being an asshole. Right. Whilst you look at Transformers, Shia LaBeouf, he gets the girl in the end, and Mark Wahlberg, he gets his daughter, he gets the girl. He's the best man who ever lived, Mark Wahlberg.
Yeah.
And so there's not sympathetic people. And I think that's also the problem Michael Bay has with his movies, especially with Pain and Gain.
Oh God, that could have been such a good film as well.
Yeah, weirdly, it could
have been a really good dark comedy.
If the Cronenbergs did it, it'd be great. But the problem I have with Pain and Gain is that all these people are just dickheads.
Yeah,
and there's no sympathy. They're rewarded for being.
Well, they're not, because they get killed at the end. Well, two of them do.
True, but
yeah, death penalty.
But the way they're put across is like, look how cool these guys are. Like, no, I don't like these people, and they're rewarded for it by the filmmaker and the way the film is made as well.
Yeah,
which doesn't help anything.
Them as quite cool guy, and it's like, well,
yeah, and that's why Star-Lord, I think, is a very compelling character. It's about
them growing, and the scene that I really love with Rocket Raccoon is a tiny little. It's just 2 lines where Rocket kind of Star-Lord says something to Rocket, and Rocket says, yeah. He's the kind of guy about Yondu, he says he's the kind of guy to steal some batteries that he didn't need.
Mm-hmm.
And it's this really sweet little scene of kind of Rocket almost coming out to Star-Lord about the kind of person he is, and recognising actually he does want to get close to people. And it's like, this is a film where at the end of the first one, it ends in a weird dance-off thing.
Yeah.
It's like, what?
And this movie starts with a good dance sequence.
Yeah, it's like, what?
Yeah, I know. Which is, I'm really, now James Gunn's gone.
Yeah,
I don't think Guardians of the Galaxy is going to be any good.
No,
not any good. It's going to be.
Well, supposedly they're in talks with them to maybe reinstate him. I don't think they will.
They won't, because it's Disney. But
no, they won't.
It sucks.
Yeah, it was definitely a great and that was one it wasn't. I thought it was going to be alright, but it really just put it up there. I was like, wow, I will watch this in 40 years and still love it, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. So I think video gaming is also like a thing we do. We do video games. Like what would you? Is there like a moment, say like you said, unexpected sort of a reaction to Guardians of the Galaxy? Has a video game ever done the same thing to you?
Yeah, that's a really good, because I was talking about. Well, I keep telling you about this game. There's this £10 game
on Steam
called Hollow Knight, and it's become my favourite game. I think one of my favourites. I thought it was just going to be a fun kind of platformer, and it is, but it's got this weird kind of depth to it, and I would almost say like it pulls on like archetypal kind of like story themes, but in such a way that it's really kind of like, you know, subtle in a sense.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, it was just incredible. I played through it and it was just this, it's quite some people are going to call me proper casual for this, but I found it quite difficult the first time I played it because, you know, I've never played that kind of game before. It's relatively open world in a sense. It's a platformer.
It's not linear.
Yeah, it's non-linear, but at the same time, the story is this kind of, you kind of have to interpret it yourself, but it's like, you're playing this thing called the Hollow Knight, and it's based on bugs. It's like a world of bugs.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to kind of just like, there's a kind of king that's become corrupted by this disease, and the world is becoming corrupted by this disease, and you have to something quite Jungian about it, because it's got this kind of weird dream aspect to it, where you get this kind of dream sword and you can like enter dreams to fight bosses, and it's very difficult to describe the story. You kind of have to free these souls, I think you'd call them, of like these fallen characters to open this seal to then fight this king. But then you do that once, you defeat him and you seal off the disease. But there's kind of 3 endings, and I don't really want to spoil them, but it's really interesting and the designs are incredible. It looks gorgeous and it's just really good, and I was not expecting it. It's like, for a £10 game,
mm-hmm.
I've sunk like 200 and something hours in, and it's one of the few games where I cared about getting like all the
achievements,
except the speedrun ones, because I'm not a speedrunning kind of guy. But
I think that detracts from my.
Yeah.
If I have to rush through a game.
Yeah, especially with this, 'cause it's so nice. It's so enjoyable. It's got beautiful music as well. It's like this really like somber. Because it almost feels like it's about this fallen king. Well, it's about a kind of fallen kingdom. So you've got this really somber kind of music in the background. That's this weird like kind of piano drill. It's just incredible. And yeah, so that's one that I played recently.
I think for me, video games is that I've been a gamer for longer than you have, generally. But like I started out like playing like fucking Quake on my dad's old PC.
Yeah.
Like and then like I got a PS2, and I never really thought about games as much in terms of like a media. Like I played like, racing games and GTA and Star Wars Battlefront, but I never really paid attention to like the story of GTA San Andreas. It's like, whatever.
Yeah. There's a certain kind of game, like I say about the story with this game, is like, it's not really the story, it's the feeling the moments give you. Mm-hmm. And it's like, that's why I kind of call it like archetypal, because it feels like it's pulling at something quite deep, even though you might not 100% get what the story beats are. You're kind of getting these scenes that are kind of shown to you. There's one where the Hollow Knight is like crawling out of this pit basically, and it just, you don't 100% know what's going on, but you just get this deep sense of like, this is important.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know how they did it. It's incredible.
I think my appreciation started to begin when I got my first PS3.
Yeah,
my only
PS3.
My only PS3. And strange sort of way to sort of begin my. Thank you for dropping that on the floor. I'm not editing that because I want everyone to know what a klutz you are.
Oh.
And so I played Call of Duty 4 for the first time.
Yeah.
And for a guy who just thought, this would just be, I can shoot the bad men's, that'd be fun. It had like a really engaging story, Call of Duty 4. Obviously not as complex and engaging as could be in the future, but it made me sort of think, this can be a really sort of interesting media. And then following on that and loving Call of Duty 4, I never ever played the multiplayer on it when I was a child. I was all just single player all the time.
Yeah.
And then got told by like people who older than me, like, hey, have you ever heard of Uncharted? And I was like, what's Uncharted? And it's like Indiana Jones, but if it was a game. And from there, my sort of whole concept of stories in games and characters in games just blew up.
Yeah.
And I played in every Uncharted game as it came out, and Uncharted is amazing. I think it's just one of the best sort of media ever. And that's boasted even more from the same studio that made The Last of Us.
Yeah.
And I gave them the first ever sort of emotional reaction, proper emotional reaction in terms of sadness in a game. Like, do you remember when I came around and I told you, hey, come watch the first 10 minutes of The Last of Us? I think even you were like, that was really good. And that's not even how it peaks. I think one of the best sort of moments I've ever experienced in all of media, in films, books, whatever, is you're just walking through like these dilapidated and post-apocalyptic buildings, they're covered in vines and ivy.
Yeah.
And you're looking after this girl called Ellie. You have been for like 10 hours at this point. And there's a point where she just runs off. I'm not like, as a player, like, fuck, she's gone. Fuck, I need to protect this kid. Oh my god, what's happening? And I'm just like sprinting after her. I was like, come back, I need you, come back, like shaking my controller. And you open the door, and there's just a giraffe. That sounds stupid, but there's a giraffe which is there's skip from the zoo.
I know what you're talking about. I just imagining someone just being like, oh, this is a really sad bit. There's a giraffe. I probably could have said that better. Yeah.
But it's just like...
No,
I think because from this whole thing, when you've been worried about this character and yourself and... Fuck, we're going to get killed by zombies. We're going to get, cannibalized by these people again.
It's because it's around an area with the zoo, isn't it?
Yeah, and so you look out and there's just like these giraffes walking around. And like she's petting the giraffe. And it's this moment where you can just stand and just watch the giraffes. Yeah. And I did for about half an hour. And I was like, wow, this is just... I've never been... I don't even know how to describe it.
I've never played The Last of Us, but I've seen that scene, and it is really quite,
It's just such a beautiful moment. And I was like, wow, this is just... I don't know, that's what I'd argue... I'm not going to get into the argument right now, but I'd argue that video games are the best media in general.
Jesus,
and that's I'm not going to argue that right now, but that is just...
We're gonna my thoughts. Topic for another episode, actually. I'm trying to think of if there's been a moment like that in a game for me, and I'm a bit trying to think of what games I've played.
Thomas Was Alone, maybe.
Thomas Was Alone. It was good, and it was quite nice, and it was quite clever, and but I wouldn't say that kind of gave me that kind of feeling. What do you think of? Are you a fan of kind of Dark Souls style games where the lore is really kind of
they don't tell you
the story is the backdrop? And the gameplay is really what, because you sound like
could you give me another example? Because I've played the first Dark Souls, and it's one of the things I can. I'm a noob casual, and so I can never get into it really. Yeah. It was like I think Yahtzee described it as. It's like you're in a room and there's just rakes everywhere, and you always just step on a rake and get blattered in the face.
That is a pretty good description of it.
And people just say like, "No, you keep going," because then you'll eventually just get really into getting raked in the face. And I'm like, I don't want to get raked in the face. I'm good.
Having said that, the accomplishment you feel after, like, I've never felt more accomplished after a game, after finishing. Yeah.
I get that.
Dirty casual because I played Dark Souls 3, which is supposed to be easier than Dark Souls 1. No, Dark Souls 2 is supposed to be the easiest and worst.
That's the worst one. Yeah.
It's worse as well.
I played Bloodborne.
And Bloodborne's supposed to be really good as well. But Dark Souls 3, because I beat all the bosses, and actually one of the bosses in Dark Souls 3, the Thunder Lord, I think his name was. Oh, Nameless King is supposed to be one of the hardest bosses in any of the games. It's so difficult. And I beat that and I was just like, I am your god. On top of the world beating that game.
But what other games would you say have that sort of where the lore is the most important thing? Give me an example.
Well, I can't really think of any. Dark Souls is the kind of example where you just beat bosses.
It's Half-Life
and then you read the lore afterwards. I don't know about. I've only played half of Half-Life 1.
Yeah, I mean, I guess.
I suppose that kind of is like that.
I'm going to say I like the idea of what Dark Souls does. I'm just not a fan of the moment-to-moment gameplay.
Yeah, it is very annoying.
Because it is just,
it gets frustrating.
Banging your head on a wall. It's like, I didn't have the patience, really.
It's when you lose your soul. Like, in the game, you drop your soul when you die, and if you don't pick it up again and die again, you lose it. Yeah. And one of the things that happened was I had, with there's a boss. Once you've beaten 3 of a particular kind of boss, you get transported to this one called Dancer of the Boreal Valley. She is so difficult. But I had like loads of soul. I had like 100 and something thousand. I was like, yeah, I'm going to spend this on stuff. And then I got transported instantly to this boss, and I died twice. I was like, oh. And then I completely forgot that you can, there's this type of item that you can use to get out of that. Mm-hmm. But I forgot about that, so I was like, fuck. Yeah, I was so annoyed.
There's just too much, like, I think that's RPGs for me in general, role-playing games. Just sort of like, there's just so much in this.
Yeah.
And I have limited time.
Oh my god, I once played Skyrim, and I have a friend that's really into Skyrim.
Yeah, I like Skyrim.
Yeah. And
it's not me.
He said, the game's really easy unless you go on the incredibly hard difficulty, the highest hard difficulty. And I was playing it like this, and I was like, this is really hard, but I don't want to seem like a casual. And then I told him that, and he's like, I was joking. It's actually hard on that difficulty. You don't have to play on that. And also, I didn't know there was fast travel. So my first introduction to Skyrim was walking around, getting killed by one wolf because it was so difficult to kill them.
Yeah, I think I like Skyrim in the sense that I don't do the main story. I like just wandering around a mountain. Like I found one time I'm running on a mountain and I stumbled into a bunch of vampires, like a vampire nest, and then got destroyed by blood wolves. I was like, well, this is my life now.
Yeah. I'm trying to think. I've not had an emotional moment other than Hollow Knight was an emotional journey, but not in that way. Again, there's this part of Hollow Knight called the Path of Agony, and it's really difficult. It's insane. Like it's meant to be. It's an extra part. You don't have to do it.
Never would have thought the game sequence called the Path of Agony would be hard.
Oh, it was so difficult, and it was like. But again, that was the accomplishment of when I finally did it to just get that achievement. Mm-hmm. And it's funny because you expect there to be this amazing thing, and all it is a cutscene of the Hollow Knight sitting with the king, and it's like.
Have you ever felt guilt whilst playing a video game?
Oh yeah, there's funny enough, there's a Hollow Knight one where the guy that upgrades your sword, once he's upgraded it to the point you can, he asks you to kill him. Mm-hmm. And in the first time I played it, you're supposed to do that. And I was like, I feel really bad, and it's like so I killed him. But I didn't realise that if you left, he would find a new meaning in life, effectively. Mm-hmm. So I was like, I felt really bad. I was like, I just killed you. But actually, if I just left...
I've had a few of those. There's one major one which everyone knows, but I'll say this smaller one. There's Red Dead Redemption, like the zombie one, Undead Nightmare, I think. And there's a side mission where some guy's like, there's fucking Bigfoots. What are they called? Sasquatches.
Sasquatches.
Fuck up, Adam. And so the Sasquatch is going around killing like our children. They're murdering everyone. And so he's like, we need you. You need to go kill these things before they do any more damage. And so you go across and you're just murdering these Sasquatches. And you find the very last one who's like leaning against the tree. And you're about to shoot him, and then you start having a conversation with the Sasquatch, and he's just kind of like...
Speak English?
Well, they're kind of... Sasquatch. Just go with it. It works in the game.
Yeah.
And so he's like, I'm going to kill you, Sasquatch. He's like, why? He's like, because, you've been killing these children, killing these babies. He's like, what are you fucking talking about? We're vegetarians. We eat berries.
Wait, is there any option not to kill them either, though?
Yeah, but the thing is, though, if you kill him, he's the last Sasquatch.
Yeah.
He'll live a life of solitude and then be hunted by other people.
Yeah, but I meant, is there a way of not killing any of them?
No.
And kind of not doing the mission?
You don't find that out until the very end. We've been told by loads of NPCs and characters that these things need to die. And until you get to the end where it's like, we took him out. I eat berries. I'm cool.
Oh no.
So there's that one, and then I was like, shit, do I kill this thing? And then I killed it because I was like, I can't leave this guy on his own. I've killed his family, his children. He has nothing else in this world. I killed that. So that was the first one I experienced. But the main one is in a game called Spec Ops: The Line.
Yeah.
Which, like, you play it and you think this is just like Call of Duty but third person. This is all this is. And then it came to this, because the whole plot of it, you're a group of rescue team who are in Dubai because it's been hit by a sandstorm.
Yeah.
And there's rebels fighting over Dubai and the US Army fighting over Dubai at the same time. And there's a point when but the US Army general has gone rogue. That's important.
Oh, okay.
That's an important aspect. And so there's a point, so you can't trust anyone.
Yeah.
And there's a point in the game when you get to the point where there's hundreds of army soldiers in front of you, and there's three of your guys. You can't get through this, and you're discussing to your teammates and what we're going to do in this situation. And like they go, well, we can't sneak around because it's too much for him to get through.
Yeah.
And we're on the clock here. And to the right of you, there's kind of like there's white phosphorus bombs and mortars. And they're like, we should. This is the only way to do this, and we can't trust these guys. I don't know. They're going to kill us if we go down. And so slowly, you had the choice: do we just go sneakily, or do we use the white phosphorus?
Yeah.
And so I was like, fuck it. These guys are going to kill us anyway. I'll use the white phosphorus. You rain down white phosphorus on these guys. I'm thinking, fuck yeah, okay, I can go through. But then you have to walk through the graves which you've just made. And there's just people screaming in agony, like they're on fire.
It's almost like it's a war zone.
Exactly. and so I was like, oh no. And so then you just do you put these guys out of their misery, or do you just carry on walking? And so there's that, and so I'm already feeling kind of shitty. And then one guy kind of like you find him, he's trying to talk to you. And he just kind of goes, why? He goes,
my wife.
No. He goes, why? He kind of goes, we were just saving the civilians.
Oh, no.
And so these guys were just doing what we were. But we had the wrong impression that they were rogue soldiers. And so you like turn like a corner, and in front of you are civilians who you've just white phosphorus gassed.
Oh,
and there's one like lady holding her child, and she's like, white phosphorus just kind of like melts your skin.
Yeah.
And like kind of keeps you in like one position. It's kind of like after Vesuvius erupts, you see the statues of people. Yeah. But like that, but more graphic. Holding children with...
That's pretty graphic.
With hundreds of people just dead.
Oh, Jesus.
And you did this. You decided to do this.
Fucking hell.
And I was like, as a gamer, I was like, what the fuck have I done? I felt shit for about a week. Cause
can you not just like reload the save?
No, I don't want to. I was like, this,
I've got to live with what I've done.
I've got to live with what I've done. And then slowly from that moment, the game is like just you're falling down a hill into madness and insanity. You can't tell what's real and what's not real.
Yeah.
And so
that's pretty cool.
Play Spec Ops: The Line.
Mine is I've not played Mass Effect 3. I keep putting it off because of the way people say it's bad, and it's like
people say the ending's
bad, and it's like
everyone else says the game is just pretty good.
The first two were so good that I was like
disagree. The first one's kind of shit.
Well, the first one story wise was so good, like the gameplay, whatever.
I wanted to kill myself playing that game. It's so boring.
The gameplay is really annoying in that game, but in the first one, I know I had a really like fuck kind of moment because I really like the character Rex. Like I like the whole kind of like don't give me that look. Like, what's that for? They
don't understand what we're talking about. Carry on.
No, there's this character Rex. He's like a, big burly thing, but it's kind of like their species has a kind of a quite interesting past. Like, basically, they get sterilized because they were part of this war, but you kind of feel quite sympathetic for them. And I really like this character. I was like, oh, you're going to be on my team. So I got through playing the game, and then suddenly, out of nowhere, he says something like, fuck this, and points a gun at you. And you have either the option to like shoot him or talk him down. But the talking down button was like faded out, so I couldn't do it. So I was like, no, I don't want to shoot him. I want to pick that option. Turns out I had to do a certain mission for him to be able to pick that option. So I had to shoot this character that I really wanted to like have on my team, and because the way the games work, like they continue on with your save from the previous game. So it was like, no, I don't want to. I like this character. I want to have him back. So I had to like go 4 hours back in the gameplay just so that I could get this character and do the right mission. Sorry, I just knocked the table if there was a sound there.
Yeah, you didn't comment on it.
Well, yeah, but if there's a random knocking sound, then they
can assume. But no, but I think anything else you want to say about yourself? Because I think that was a good sort of way to.
Yeah, maybe that was a good
out.
end. I don't know. It's been quite a long episode. I'm kind of surprised if you've actually watched to this point. It might be worth maybe splitting in two.
Maybe. I think I'll
just part 1 and part 2.
Maybe. I think I'll just put the whole thing out and then I'll just do individual.
Yeah, maybe.
Parts.
Well, yeah, it's been fun as always. Should we try? Because you were away for 2 weeks. I know, like, we don't have that many viewers, but
I can do one. I can do them frequently now. I can do.
Yeah, we'll probably
two
do
hours if you
one,
want to. If you want to do, I could do one this weekend.
Yeah, we could do 1 or 2 a week. Not.
Yeah. Maybe
for the next few months at least.
Yeah. Maybe sort of get me used to editing as well.
Yeah.
But no, but thank you for listening,
it's been
and
fun.
I hope you've enjoyed our profound thoughts, our icebreakers and dildo suits.
Yeah.
That's the title of this podcast now.
Okay.
I think we'll just sign out.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. See you guys.
And thanks for listening. Bye.
Bye.